Welcome, everyone, to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. It's great to have you with us. As always, I'm Sean Hennessy. To my right, Kirsten Fairchilds. We're broadcasting to you live from San Jose, California, on the campus of Independence High School. It's CCS playoff action here tonight, folks, on this Friday evening. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com pregame show, and a late, happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone tuning in tonight. We'd like to welcome you to our broadcast coverage here this evening. We've got a terrific matchup in store for you as the number 5 seed Serra Padres take on the number 1 seed Bellarmine Bells in the CCS Open Division bracket. So tonight, Kirsten, we get a chance to see Serra, Bellarmine. The big story leading into this matchup had to have been the overall talk about their first meeting way back on October 13th, where it was an overtime victory for the Bells of Bellarmine, 35-34. Tonight, guess what? It's ding-ding round 2 action we're going to see here this evening.
For sure. And you know what's so surprising about how the season went? That I think if anyone was going to kind of guesstimate who might be the number 1 seed in this open bracket, earlier on in the season, it would be Serra. Serra got off to such a hot start. They were the favorite against this Bellarmine team that had graduated so many seniors and so many star players as well. But here, Bellarmine's top dog. So Serra, I'm sure the Padres fans looking to them to play the spoiler tonight.
They're trying to play the spoiler tonight. They're trying to knock off Bellarmine here this evening, not only just to advance in the Open Division playoff bracket, but to capture a win against Bellarmine, something that this school has not been able to do. In roughly the past 6 years, Bellarmine has had the best of Serra when it comes to the sport of football. So you're tuning in to the PlayOnSports.com pregame show, folks. We're about 8 minutes away from the opening kickoff here at Independence High School. Temperature hovering below 60 degrees. Beautiful evening, no clouds in sight. We're not expecting any rain for tonight's matchup. We had a chance to go down the field a few moments ago, Kirsten, and talk with head coach Patrick Walsh. And he had a lot of good tidbits of information for us, you know, when it came to his roster, his team. And, you know, I kind of asked him what he took away from that first game and what I guess he plans to use differently now that it's obviously a postseason matchup and you're going up for the second time against Bellarmine. And he wanted to focus on those individual matchups. He mentioned there was a lot of flaws, a lot of mistakes that he took away from that first game, the individual matchups. And I think one of the key ones that he wants to focus in on is stopping that powerful Bellarmine running attack.
You know, Bellarmine runs the wing tee so tremendously. I mean, it really is a pleasure to watch. And, you know, Serra, this is a team that, you know, it's taken a few knocks this season. It was shut out by St. Francis. The loss to Bellarmine must have been so disappointing. But the one bright spot for sure is that this team has stayed remarkably healthy as the season has gone along. They're very strong. They have not lost any players between last week and this week. One aspect that I think Coach Patrick Walsh, you know, he really gets to make some adjustments. You know, a season has gone by. I think he realizes what can be done and successful against some teams is not going to be said for Bellarmine. So look to the Padres to go to the air a little bit more tonight. They need to establish the passing game to make their stellar running game work.
And you mentioned a staff for the Serra Padres, a roster sheet that is pretty much free of injuries. One pretty big injury to report here this evening on the Bellarmine sideline is number 32, Matt Helmers, a senior, 5'11", 190-pound fullback. He did play a very important role for that Bellarmine offensive squad and defensive squad. He was at one point earlier in the year a starter on the defensive line, but he is out tonight. He is not dressed. A big injury for the Bellarmine Bells. You're tuning in to the PlayOnSports.com pregame show, folks. About 5 minutes away from the opening kickoff here at Independence High School. Kirsten Fairchilds to my right. I am Sean Hennessy, getting ready to bring you all the live play-by-play action here this evening. We're broadcasting to you on the Bellarmine sideline, so you may be picking up the occasional Bellarmine applause or the bell ringing in the background. You could probably pick that up. You know, one of the cool things that I took away last week, we just also had a chance to talk with Coach Mike Janda of Bellarmine, and you asked him the question about the matchup versus Terra Nova, what he took away from that particular game. He mentioned, you know, Terra Nova came after him, just like a lot of teams do, but, you know, it was a public versus private school matchup. Terra Nova came after him, mentioned how great their defense was, but at the end of the day, he stuck to one thing, and that was their running attack. It was the ground and pound, and I think one of the interesting matchups we're going to watch today is if Serra's able to stop that, if they're able to contain it. How are we going to see the Vanderbilt commit, KJ Carter-Samuels, come into play, utilizing those different names like Sanfilippo and Kenneth Olugabode? How's he going to utilize those players to attack that Serra defense?
Well, first I would like to just give credit to the Terra Nova program. I feel that is a school that has a rich history, but they're kind of mysterious up there. They're kind of a bit unknown for playing in that Peninsula Athletic League Bay division. And I'm not sure that, all the schools throughout the Central Coast section know what a storied program that is up there. So hats off to them to really, Bellarmine came out flat according to Coach Janda, and Terra Nova gave them a scare, and that's probably exactly what the Bells need coming into this game. Well, we talked about Serra wanting to establish the pass. Bellarmine is not a one-trick pony with this double-wing offense for sure, and KJ Carter-Samuels, he has developed so much over the season. He could always throw the ball, Sean, but now he's proven himself as a threat on the ground and just really following in the footsteps of Travis McHugh in that vein. McHugh, always such a dynamic runner and dynamic presence at quarterback, and I think Bellarmine fans are thrilled to have Carter-Samuels for one more year.
Bellarmine trying to get back to that state bowl game. Very difficult at this point because of the loss earlier in the year to De La Salle, but you never know. Things can always change. Of course, last year they made it down there to Carson, California at the Home Depot Center and lost a heartbreaker to Santa Margarita 42-37. Always on the minds of the Bellarmine Bell faithful. Well, how did we get to this particular point? Serra took care of Palo Alto last week, 52-35, an impressive victory against Poly, putting up over 50 points against a very tough defense. On the flip side, Bellarmine knocked off Terra Nova, we just mentioned, 33-14, and that's where we're at, folks, here at Independence High School. The winner of this game will take on St. Ignatius Archbishop Mitty. That matchup will take place tomorrow night, and Kirsten, you'll actually be behind the mic calling that one as well. So we have some excellent football matchups in store for you. And Kirsten, interesting note, you take a look at this bracket, and you take a look at the Final Four. We've got St. Ignatius coming in at a 6 seed. We've got Archbishop Mitty coming in at a 7 seed, Serra at the 5 spot, and Bellarmine at the overall number 1 seed. We've got an all WCAL Final Four here in the Open Division.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest surprise is Oak Grove being shut out in the first round. I happen to know Palma's had a terrific year, but having 3 losses, that is unusual for the Chieftains. They had some tremendous talent on that team, so it'll be fun to see just how good St. Ignatius is. I mean, St. Ignatius finished in a tie for second place in the WCAL behind with Serra. St. Ignatius with a tie with Serra behind Bellarmine.
It's going to be a great matchup, folks. It's round 2 between Serra and Bellarmine. The winner of this game advances to the Open Division Final. That's going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com pregame show. We're going to pause for our nation's national anthem, and when we come back, we'll have round 2 of Serra Bellarmine coming up next on PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, Go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
Friday Night Football moments away, presented to you by PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any bigger than this. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Sean Hennessy here with you. To my right, Kirsten Fairchilds. We're broadcasting to you live from San Jose, California, on the campus of Independence High School. Tonight we bring to you the second round matchup in the 2012 CCS Open Division bracket. It's the Serra Padres at the 5 seed taking on the number 1 seed, Bellarmine Bells. Serra knocked off Palo Alto last week 52-35. Bellarmine took care of Terra Nova 33-14. Both teams out on the field here as we get ready to kick things off at Independence High School. Bellarmine will be receiving the football to start things off, wearing the all-blue uniforms, moving right to left on your screen. On the flip side, Serra wearing the all-white uniforms. Moving left to right, they'll start on defense. And we're underway from Independence High School. Across the far side of the field, Joey Sanfilippo will try to scoot ahead as he crosses the 25, brings the line down towards the 30, and that's where Bellarmine will start things off.
Sanfilippo last week, a huge week, both on the ground, and also ran a 88-yard punt return back for a TD. He is the big news when it comes to this Bellarmine rushing game.
KJ Carta-Samuels, the big man for the Bellarmine Bells, in at quarterback. He will lead this double wing offense for you here tonight. Once again, Bellarmine moving right to left. They will start around their own 28-yard line. 1st and 10 on the right hash mark. Serra lines up with 4 defensive linemen down. It'll be a pitch that goes towards the near side of the offensive line. Count it for a gain of close to 4 yards as the ball carrier brings it down to the 31-yard line.
Sean, anytime a team loses a close game in overtime like Serra did the first time around, you see how pumped up this Padres defense is. They want this so badly.
It'll be 2nd down and about 6 for Bellarmine as KJ Carta-Samuels comes back over to the huddle, getting the play call from head coach Mike Janda, leading his Bellarmine squad here in the Open Division playoff bracket, trying to get to that finals matchup. Winner of this game will take on either St. Ignatius or Archbishop Mitty later this week. As another rush goes towards the left side of that offensive line, and that'll be a key story here tonight, folks. The rushing attack for both these schools, very impressive, especially for Bellarmine, as they utilize that double wing formation.
Interesting that Joey Sanfilippo is starting at receiver tonight. We were told he'd be the starting running back. He's lined up twice out on the left side of Carter Samuels.
Expect Kenneth Olugabode, Joey Sanfilippo to get the bulk of the carries. Austin Changras lining up at fullback will also get some of the workload down on the goal line formations. It's 3rd down and 3. We're in the first quarter, in between the hashes. Slot wingman over towards the left side. Man in motion. That's Olugabode. Now he's the pitch man, and Carter Samuels is tied up. He had absolutely nowhere to go. The Serra defense penetrated the line of scrimmage, and the first man to come in and make the big tackle was Fia Malapiai from the left side. Results in a 4th down.
What a great opening defensive drive, if you will, a defensive scenario by the Padres. You know, they've had a chance to see Bellarmine, obviously, once before, and not fooled at all with the talent in the running game.
Back deep to return the ball for the Padres. Aesop Winston, and he stands around his own 25-yard line. That's Grant Bush booting the ball away. It's a low roller that will finally go out of bounds around the 35-yard line. So Kirsten 3 and out for Bellarmine on their opening drive, but here comes that tough Bellarmine defense. Defensive line led by Alex Abiog, Kyle Eberton, and Dominic Luca. The 3 studs up front really are going to have their afternoon, their evening in store for them. They're going to stop that tough Serra rushing game led by Eric Redwood.
And Luca, just one of 2 starters returning from last year's championship squad. Luca playing both ways on the O-line and the D-line.
Serra from their own 36-yard line. Quarterback Zach Kazikoff under center, gives it to Redwood. Redwood tries to pile ahead, gets to about the 39-yard line with the forward progress. Bellarmine sniffs it out. They bring those middle linebackers up front. Making the tackle is Dominic Luca.
Luca, that was the announcer's jinx in reverse. Usually, sometimes we're responsible for any mishaps, but not from Luca, who really is a seasoned veteran, and he is certainly one of the leaders of this young Bellarmine squad.
Gain of 3, 2nd down, 9 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Serra moving left to right on your screen. This is Redwood going far side on the handoff. Finds some room, now he turns it up, gets by the first down marker, still pumps his legs, and is driven out of bounds close to the 47-yard line. Kirsten, he needed 6. It looked like he got close to 8 on that rush that was going towards the far sideline.
Well, it seems like going back in the history of football, a great running back always keeps their legs moving. It looked like Bellarmine had a chance. It looked like he had stumbled a bit, but Redwood keeps his legs moving and knows exactly how to move those chains.
So Eric Redwood coming into this game with 24 rushing touchdowns. He wants to see if he can eclipse that 25 rushing touchdown mark, and we did have a flag on the play. It took place across the far side of the field, and it goes against Bellarmine. It'll be 1st and 10 for Serra as they now cross over into Bellarmine territory, moving left to right. They have the ball on the 37-yard line. 1st and 10. Man in motion. This will be a pitch play that goes towards the middle. Serra offering Bellarmine a taste of their own medicine on the pitch play. And that appeared to be Winston, the ball carrier, taking it ahead for a gain of close to 4 yards.
Aesop Winston, the 5'7", 145-pound junior. He certainly plays bigger than those dimensions.
Correction on the last carry. That was Kava Cassidy, the motion man on the left wing, taking the pitch and working towards the middle. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6. 8 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter. No score between Serra and Bellarmine. Serra the 5 seed, Bellarmine the 1 seed in this open division. 3 backs behind quarterback Zach Kazikoff. 2 fullbacks, 1 tailback. It'll be a handoff towards the near side fullback, towards the left side of the offensive line. Out towards the 30-yard line. Count that for a gain of 3. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 3.
Great blocking up front for Serra. You know, Bellarmine in this 5-3 defense. You mentioned the big guys up front, but it's that middle linebacker, Kenneth Olugabode, who certainly can be a playmaker on defense as well.
And Bellarmine runs that tough 3-5-3 look, and they stack at least 8 men in the box. Redwood on a pitch towards the far side, spins around, gets past the 1st down marker, and is finally tackled at the 25-yard line. gain of close to 5 yards for Eric Redwood as he tries to work that far side, does a nice spin move on that far side hash, and picks up a first down for the Padres.
Second first down converted by Redwood. How great for the Serra coaching staff to know that you have a player like Redwood that can consistently convert for you.
Josh Cordova, the near side flanker at the bottom of your screen. This will be a delayed handoff to Arco. Arco trips around the 27-yard line. The closest bell next to him was Daniel Fields in the backfield, but he's tripped up for maybe a couple inches on the loss. It'll bring up second down and 11.
You know, so much attention has been deservedly given to Eric Redwood. What about Angelo Arco, his fellow classmate, the senior, 79 carries for 678 yards. He averages 6.62 yards per carry. That's impressive in its own right.
We're in the first quarter, 7 minutes and 9 seconds left to play. No score between Serra and Bellarmine. Redwood in motion from near side to far side. Has 2 blockers in front of him. Gets by one bell and is flung down close to the 21-yard line. That was Ola Gabode flying in on the far side of the field. Nearly brought down the ball carrier Redwood, who was able to pick up about 5 yards. It'll bring up third down and 5.
You know, to me, in some ways, Kenneth Ola Gabode is that just classic example of a big and strong high school player, yet still has so much speed. He's just a pleasure.
The ball is marked down on the 21-yard line. It's third down and close to 6. Handoff to the fullback. Nowhere to go. Alex Abiog coming up and tackling the ball carrier at the ankles. It'll bring up fourth down and 6.
Doesn't seem to matter which play on penetration and for the tackle on the backfield.
It would be about a 38-yard field goal try from this range. Patrick Walsh is going to do. He will line up for the PAT try. Anthony Toms, the kicker. Holding the ball will be Kenny McMillan. Pitch it. It's a fake to Malapai. Down the far side of the field, they executed it beautifully. It was a pitch from the holder, McMillan, and he pitched it to Malapai, and that's a first down for Serra.
Well, how about a little excitement to start off this opening drive, and why not? One will have one will be done when just as Serra just did.
So Patrick Walsh rolls the dice, picks up the first down on the fake field goal try. On the ensuing play, it'll be a gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards. That was Redwood, the ball carrier. But how about that play call here in the first quarter, Kirsten, going for it, the fake on a field goal try?
Yeah, you know, last week we saw on PlayOn Sports, Leland Aragon going for the onside kick on the opening kickoff. They're making it fun this year.
Playing defensive back along the near side of the field for the Bells now is Jared Vollner. He's covering the flanker at the bottom of your screen, and that's Josh Cordova. There's a flag on the field. Our head referee for tonight's matchup, Phil Beltran, lines up in between the hashes and signals a false start against Serra. Our umpire is Dean Whipple. Our head linesman is Gerard Middleton. Our line judge is Bob Schuster, and our back judge is Chris Bioletto.
Certainly a veteran officiating crew. Phil Beltran, one of the best.
It'll be first and about 15 following the false start penalty for Serra. Line of scrimmage has been moved out to the 13-yard line, close to the 14. On second down, Kazakov drops back 5 steps. Now he's under pressure. There's a sack. Coming around the near side edge and making the sack was Joe Castagnani. Nobody touched him. He came off the near side edge and records a big loss. Great job by the Bellarmine Bell defender.
This Bellarmine defense is stiffening up here after the fake field goal attempt, and great penetration again by the inside linebacker, Castagnani.
Castagnani coming off that inside edge, putting a lot of pressure on the tackles for Serra. He will mix it up a little bit. You can see him go far side as well. He'll definitely play both sides of that defense, as it's now going to be 3rd and 19 for Serra. Ball is placed in between the 19 and 20-yard line. Moving left to right on your screen. 3 minutes, 56 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Whistles blow, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout. Timeout called on the field. That'll be a Serra Padre timeout. They have 2 remaining here in the first half. No score. We're in the first quarter. 3:55 left to play here on PlayOnSports.com.
Would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? If so, tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. Our program allows schools to broadcast all of their games as well as other activities all on the web. For more information, please visit playonsports.com/SBP.
Kirsten Fairchild's to my right. I'm Sean Hennessy. We're broadcasting to you live from San Jose, California, here at Independence High School. You're watching the Serra Bellarmine matchup, and then tomorrow night we'll also have the St. Ignatius Archbishop Mitty matchup, which will be played right here at Independence High School. So the winner of this game will face either Mitty or St. Ignatius. It's an all WCAL Final Four. But in the meantime, it's 3rd down and 19 following the timeout for Serra. Kazakov, beautiful pocket. Now he works it towards the far side under pressure. He's got to make a move, and he'll go down. Sacked around the 20-yard line. He was trying to escape Kyle Eberton, but Eberton got the best of him. It'll bring up 4th down.
Bellarmine is playing team defense all the way. Opening drive, opening chance to see them on defense. I think you've called every single starter on this Bellarmine squad.
Those kids can fly around those Bells defenders. And now Serra will line up for another field goal try. The ball is at the 19-yard line. It would be a 36-yard field goal try, this time from the left hash mark for Toms. Kick is away. It looks good. Did it go in between? Yes. So there it is, a 36-yard field goal right down the middle by Anthony Toms, and that gives Serra the early 3-0 lead here in the first quarter.
Serra has chewed up the clock in this first quarter, Sean. Just 3 and change left to go. Great drive for Serra. They weren't able to capitalize on the fake field goal, the conversion there on 4th down, but they've got 3 points on the scoreboard, Sean. It's such a pleasure to watch 2 teams so well coached, but also to have so many different facets of the game, and we really have some great kicker/punters on both sides of the field tonight.
That's a great point. If you're a fan of the special teams play, you know, this is a great football game for you to watch here tonight, because not only are you going to see Anthony Toms, but you're also going to get a chance to see Grant Bush of Bellarmine, and that kid has an absolute iron for a foot, folks. I'm telling you, the kid can really get under it and make some killer hang time. But Toms right there showing off his boot, completing drilling a 36-yard field goal, making it a 3-0 game here in the first quarter. 3:07 to play as Toms kicks off to Bellarmine. Joey Sanfilippo will take the return, but it goes out of bounds, and that will draw a penalty, and that's not what Patrick Walsh would like to see from his all-star kicker.
Now, we'll see what Bellarmine elects to do here, what their decision is. Looks like they're going to take the ball at the 35.
That's great field position for Bellarmine to start their second offensive series here in this football game from their own 35-yard line. Serra went 13 plays on that previous series, and it was Anthony Toms who drilled a 36-yard field goal to make this game 3-0. As Bellarmine's offense comes back out onto the field, led by quarterback KJ Carta-Samuels. He'll have Kenneth Olugabode as a ball carrier, and he'll also have Joey Sanfilippo. Keep your eye on him, folks. The kid can fly when he gets loose in that secondary. 1st and 10 Bells, moving right to left from their own 35-yard line. Pitch towards the near side. This is Sanfilippo. Tries to get through the hole that is created towards the near hash marks. Falls forward close to the 37-yard line. A gain of 3. 2nd down upcoming.
So when Bellarmine went 3 and out on their opening possession, Sanfilippo was lined up on the near side at receiver, and then on 3rd down on the far side. This is his first carry in this ball game.
2nd down and 7 for Bellarmine from their own 37. Serra trying to stack that box. Double wing being shown by the Bells. Play action. KJ Over towards the far side, completes the pass to Olagabode, gets the first down, now brings it closer towards the far sideline, does some beautiful footwork, and takes it out of bounds around the Serra 47. Kenneth Olagabode, following his blockers down the far side, does a great job of picking up more yardage, and that's a Bellarmine first down.
Carter Samuels, great composure under the pressure as Serra got coming from both ends, dumping off for the screen pass, and then Olagabode working his magic.
And you hinted on it a moment ago, Kirsten. Olagabode, such a big, powerful player for Bellarmine at 6'1", 205. He's over 205, folks. I would say closer to 215, but the kid can move for his size. As we see KJ Carter-Samuels do what appeared to be a handoff, but then rolled out towards the near side of the offensive line. Picked up close to 3, maybe 4 yards on the QB rollout towards the near sideline. Second down upcoming for Bellarmine.
Carter Samuels, you can see, we happened to be at that De La Salle game in the opening game where there was just so many question marks surrounding this Bellarmine program. I mean, they had lost so many players to graduation, and you just see the development of Carter Samuels in his first year of starting at varsity on quarterback.
And you won't see a kid get rid of the football quicker either than KJ Carter-Samuels. He can really wing it. And on second down, that's exactly what he'll do. Incomplete, though, as he was looking along the near sideline for his wide receiver, Alex Abiog, who doesn't get a whole lot of the action when it comes to the passing game. But right there we see him go out for a pass at the tight end position. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, absolutely right. Abiog, running that route, a bit of a surprise. He needs to bring that ball in.
It'll bring up 3rd down and about 7 to go for Bellarmine. They've crossed over into Serra territory. The ball is pinned down around the Serra 43-yard line. In between the hashes, Serra in the all-white uniforms on defense, Bellarmine in the all-blue uniforms. 3rd down. They're going to really open it up now. They bring 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. That's Vollner and Sanfilippo. Under center now, KJ Carter-Samuels barks out the call. Steps up in the pocket and delivers. That's Jared Vollner, complete, down to the 31-yard line. Did a nice job of sitting down in between the cornerback and the safety. Picked up a first down for Bellarmine, and Kirsten, there's a guy that is so liked amongst the Bellarmine fan base. You go back to that Midi game, he had the game-winning touchdown against the Midi Monarchs. Came up with a big catch right there.
And our PlayOnSports.com player of the game from that broadcast last week, he had a pick. He is the sure hands for the Bellarmine Bells.
Jaden Sawyer now, the flanker at the bottom of your screen on 1st and 10 for Bellarmine, just outside the 30-yard line. Handoff to Olagabode, and he tripped and fell in the backfield. Give credit to Daniel Lavulo in the backfield, making the tackle for the Serra Padre defense, but it appeared that Olagabode kind of tripped up and stopped before he really wanted to hit that hole.
Yeah, well, I don't think there was any hole to be hit because Serra's doing a great job against the run.
24 seconds left to play here in the opening quarter. 3-0 Serra, as this will more than likely be the last play of the first quarter. Ball in the left hash mark. Jared Vollner and Sanfilippo once again at the bottom of your screen. 2 backs behind KJ Carter-Samuels. Filippo in motion left to right. Drops back 7 steps, possibly setting up for a screen. Tries to get out of the pocket and cannot. That's a sack. That's going to be a big sack by Matthew Dickerson on that defensive line. And we do have a flag on the play. Matthew Dickerson switching numbers earlier in the year. Did not like the 78 number he originally had and opted to go with the 99. Big guy, over 6'5" for Serra. And we have a holding call, a defensive holding call committed against Serra.
Well, the Bellarmines with a lucky break there, Sean.
And how about that? A moment ago I mentioned that would be the last play of the first quarter. That's the old broadcaster jinx right there. 1 second left on the clock here in the first quarter. So it's a 5-yard penalty. That will push the line of scrimmage up to the 29-yard line. Now the clock will roll. The signal given from our referee, Phil Beltran. And now that will be the end of the first quarter. So we've played one here at Independence High School. Serra 3, Bellarmine nothing on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
PlayOn Sports is now on Facebook and Twitter. We're giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Please follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You may also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
3-0 our score. After one quarter, we get ready to start the second quarter here at Independence High School. Kirsten Fairchilds to my right. I'm Sean Hennessy. Kirsten, you want to know how I know this is a Bellarmine-Serra matchup? Because Serra has touched the ball once on offense. Bellarmine starting their second offensive series. And the reason why I say that, because I want to hit on something you pointed out. Serra chewed up the clock on that opening possession, around 13, maybe 14 plays on that drive, but they really put a pounding on that Bellarmine defense and chewed up a lot of game clock.
Well, and how about 3-0 after one quarter from teams that can certainly. Serra scored 52 points last week, Bellarmine 33 when they played back on October 13th. Bellarmine beating Serra 35-34, granted in OT. Yet the defense, the farther we go along in the season, it seems the more defensive battles we have.
So this will be the 8th play of this offensive series for Bellarmine coming up as we switch sides. Bellarmine now moving left to right, wearing the all-blue uniforms. Serra on defense going right to left, wearing the all-white uniforms. It's 2nd down and 6. Carter Samuels directly under center, 2 backs behind him. Oligabode shifts in motion towards the left. Quick 3-step drop, nobody home. San Filippo, the intended target, he was being covered along the near side of the field by number 45, Malachi Green. Incomplete pass brings up 3rd down.
Well, I think you have to give credit to Serra's defensive pressure. Carter Samuels has already been rushed so much that I think he didn't take enough time to let that play develop, anticipating that Serra was bringing the thunder.
From the Padre 29-yard line, ball placed in between the hashes. It's 3rd down and 6 for Bellarmine. San Filippo and Jared Vollner now switch over towards the top side. Oligabode the tailback. Carter Samuels under center. Sends San Filippo in motion now towards the near side. Pass play upcoming on 3rd down. Pass towards the middle, complete to Oligabode, who's upended around the 15. That's a 1st down. Making the tackle was Nick Maka, diving towards the ankles of Kenneth Oligabode. But how about the grab, the hold on to the football, and pick up a 1st down for Bellarmine?
Oligabode really had to adjust in midair. That ball thrown fairly behind him, and Oligabode holding on while he gets upended.
He took a shot right there towards the lower portion of his body, around the calves, the ankles, but he's still in the football game on 1st and 10 for Bellarmine. From the 16-yard line, Oligabode follows his blockers, manages to slip out of a couple tackles, and takes it down close to the 12-yard line.
Great second, third effort by Oligabode. We've seen this all season long. He's so difficult to bring down.
Play number 11 upcoming here for Bellarmine. That Bellarmine offensive line moving from left to right consists of Dominic Luca, Alex Rollins, Daniel Fields, Colin Birdsell, and the right tackle Justin Barreras, who really paved the way on that previous play, is lined up at the right tackle position. The tight end Joe Castagnani, number 7. 2nd down. Play action. Carter Samuels looking for the end zone. Dangerous pass, incomplete. Maka providing the coverage once again, intended for the tight end, Alex Abiog.
Well, the pressure just coming. You saw Oligabode stay back to block, and just Serra doing such a great job.
A lot of pressure right there on KJ as he was dropping back. He actually threw that as he was falling backwards. Incomplete. It will bring up 3rd down for Bellarmine. The ball is on the 12-yard line. We're in the red zone here, folks. Bellarmine moving left to right on 3rd down. Jared Vollner will line up at the wide receiver position, bunched up tight towards the offensive formation. Oligabode in at tailback. Carter Samuels checking down the defensive line. Now he gets under. It'll be a pass play on 3rd down. Rolls out near side, looking for the end zone, batted down. Jared Vollner, the intended target, but the cornerback, Josh Cordova, broke in, batted the ball away, and now it's going to bring up 4th down. Great job by the corner.
Although the corner made the play, again, it's the D-line of Serra You see running over people. Trying to get to Carter Samuels.
This will be a 29-yard field goal try for Grant Bush. He has the boot to do it. It will be in between the hashes. His holder is Connor Bridgman. Kick is away, and it looks good. A 29-yard field goal by Grant Bush ties this ball game at 3. It's a slugfest we have for you here at Independence High School with 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half. We're all tied up at 3 here on PlayOnSports.com. We'll stay live with you. Kirsten Fairchilds to my right. I'm Sean Hennessy. So we get a chance to see Bellarmine respond with a scoring drive of their own. They started that drive on their own 35-yard line, but let's go back to that third down attempt. You see KJ Carter-Samuels roll out. It's the pressure so far, Kirsten. He's not able to step up in the pocket, something that he's normally used to doing with that great offensive line.
Well, and you had a chance to call that first meeting between these two teams that was such a high-scoring affair. Sean, what do you see? Is this different? Is Serra really making a statement? Defense early?
And I tell you what, one of the things that comes to my mind about that first matchup was the special teams. It was the special teams that really played a huge impact, and there was a punt block in that game that really turned the tides and shifted the momentum for Bellarmine. We'll see if something like that is going to really shift and turn the tides here tonight as the up man for Serra takes the ball out past the 25-yard line. And that will be where Serra's offense will start their next offensive series.
You know, Serra, for just decades and decades, has been known as the baseball school. And I think the football program always says, what do we have to do? I think what they have to do is come away with a CCS title this season. Their last title, their only title in 1990. It's been a drought for sure.
20-plus years. A program that would love to pick up a CCS title. As the rush play goes towards the middle as multiple flags come in, and taking the ball on that play was Kevin McGee getting his first carry, but there are several flags down.
Our officiating crew has really been launching some long-distance flags here tonight.
And you asked me a question a moment ago about the difference in this matchup or some similarities that I've noticed in comparison to the first game. Kirsten, right off the bat, not that many flags in the first game where these two faced off. We have two great coaches in Patrick Walsh of Serra and Mike Janda of Bellarmine as the penalty goes against Bellarmine.
Yes, incidental face mask. Well, exactly that. Bellarmine has been these teams are so disciplined. But you know, even though they're such storied programs, they're allowed to have a few nerves. They're in the CCS semifinals playing a team that took them to OT earlier on.
Only a trip to the Open Division final on the line. No big deal. It'll bring up first down following the penalty as they move the line of scrimmage up, and Bellarmine says, nothing on that play. Austin Changras comes up from the defensive secondary and stops that play short from the cornerback position. No gain, second down and 10 upcoming.
Great lateral pursuit by the Bellarmine D, and I'm surprised it's the first time Austin Changras' name has been mentioned tonight. He gets it done on both sides of the ball for the Bells.
Changras was the player who caught the touchdown pass in overtime for Bellarmine against Serra. Keep your eye on him. He's playing along the near side of that defense, right up along the line of scrimmage on second down as Redwood gets chopped down under. A gain of 1. It'll bring up third down for Serra with 9:36 left to play in the second quarter.
You know, Kyle Eberton, the junior at 6'3", 240, such a presence on the field. Changras in on that tackle as well.
Joey Sanfilippo, the speedster, playing the free safety position out around the 47-yard line for Bellarmine. A ball hawk. The kid can move all over the place as it's now third down and 9. Serra lining up to gun it. 2 wide receivers over towards the top, 1 to the bottom. Pass play, and it's dropped. The pass is dropped by Josh Cordova on the slant route. It'll bring up fourth down.
Great release in spite of the pressure coming by Kazakov. That ball should have been caught.
Hit him right in the hands, and now it will bring up fourth down as Serra substitutes their special teams unit out onto the field. With 9 minutes and 7 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. We see Anthony Toms, the punter, standing at his own 24-yard line. Sanfilippo backs up to his own 24. We'll see what type of net yardage Toms can get on this one. It's a low snap, and he just gets the ball away. Came off his foot awkwardly as it had a spiral rotation, but it takes a Serra roll down to the 29-yard line.
And Tom's kind of adjusting his shoes afterwards. I don't know if he tweaked anything. He seems to be running off the field okay.
And that was a very low snap. Thankfully for Anthony Toms, he had enough time to pick up the ball and just punt it quickly. Normally a punter would like to take at least one step to develop some forward momentum into his kick, but he was forced to just pick it up and drop kick it rapidly with his right foot. But he gets the ball out to the Bellarmine 29-yard line, and now the Bells offense is in full effect. Moving left to right on your screen. Along the near hash mark, 1st and 10. From their own 29, KJ Carter-Samuels doing the veteran senior move, getting that defensive line to jump a little bit right there. And I should actually correct myself with KJ, only a junior, making that hard count, drawing that defensive line off sides.
I think that was Malapai jumping off sides. Again, another penalty in a game featuring two teams known for discipline.
So Bellarmine moves the line of scrimmage forward 5 yards following the penalty offsides against Serra. Ensuing play will be a handoff towards the middle of that Serra defensive line for a gain close to 2 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 1.
Gavin Lynham with the carry on that play.
Correction.
With Helmers being out, Matt Helmers, seems like a designated play where we might have seen Helmers if he was healthy.
The big bruiser at fullback out tonight for Bellarmine. Gain of 3 on the previous play. Correction originally stated a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Another handoff towards the middle, and that time we even get a chance to see the quarterback, KJ Carter-Samuels, after the handoff, try to do a little bit of blocking to move that line of scrimmage. The ball remains at the 39-yard line. Appears to be no gain, 3rd down and 1 upcoming.
Looks like they're going to measure this.
It's going to be very close to the 1st down marker. Our referee, Phil Beltran, out around the football next to his officiating staff, and now they are going to bring over the chain gang to get an official measurement. Stops the clock with 8 minutes and 1 second left to play here in the second quarter. We're all tied up at 3. First score of the game came by the foot of Anthony Toms as he drilled a 36-yard field goal to make it 3-0. And then Grant Bush a few moments ago nailed a 29-yard field goal for Bellarmine to tie it up at 3. And the measurement, as you probably heard over the PA system, the cheer of the crowd here on the Bellarmine side, a 1st down for Bellarmine. Fresh set of downs to work with inside the 39-yard line. Clock will now roll here in the second quarter as KJ leads his offense back out towards the middle of the field. 1st and 10. Looking deep for Joey Sanfilippo. Just outside the stretched arms. He had the defensive back beat across the far side of the field. That's Aesop Winston. And Kirsten, KJ was looking Joey's direction the entire time.
Well, you saw the tight formation. I think Serra thinking run for sure, and you're right, Sanfilippo had burned that defense. Carter-Samuels, you know, he's going to be such an exciting quarterback, I believe, when he finally gets to Bellarmine in 2 years. And I just think his development of a player has just been so fun to watch.
It'll be exciting to see a Bay Area guy or a Bay Area boy go play football at Vanderbilt in the tough SEC. It's exciting. Can't wait to see it in 2 years, like you said. Only a junior, but he steps up and wings it like he's a senior. And on that play, he fakes the handoff and tries to rush middle. But that play broke down. Coming up and making the tackle was Daniel Lavulo on the defensive line. Did the old swim move over the top and tackled the quarterback, KJ Carter-Samuels, in the backfield for a 1-yard loss.
Sarah definitely has the size advantage on the line. When in the trenches, Mike Janda said before the game, he said, well, my team's not that big. And I think really you see when you look at the line, the defensive front for Serra, you really see the size advantage. They're winning the war in the trenches.
Bellarmine with 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. On their own 38-yard line. On 3rd down and 11. KJ Carta-Samuels rolls out far side now, under pressure, still holding on. Finally releases it. Pass is caught by Vollner along that far sideline. And making the tackle on the defensive coverage was Cordova, but well shy of the first down marker. It'll bring up 4th down.
Carter-Samuels, the junior, Vollner, the seniors, but they look like they've been playing catch together all their lives. We've seen it all season long. Great job by Vollner to come back and bail out his quarterback.
And once again, we see KJ under pressure, having to escape that pocket, and Serra doing a nice job forcing him to move towards the far side and making a tough transition as a right-handed thrower, throwing against your body. On 4th down, Grant Bush lines up to punt it away. Whistles blow. And we may have a delay of game on Bellarmine, but we'll wait to see what the official call is from Phil Beltran. With 6 minutes and 15 seconds left to play here in the second quarter, it's a false start.
Yeah, there's some movement on the left side of the line. Again, this a bit surprising. We're late in the season here, and both teams committing unorthodox or penalties that are a bit surprising.
Aesop Winston, the return man, stands at his own 36. Punt is away from Bush, and he signals fair catch. A low punt, high, but in terms of distance, a very low punt that rolls out of bounds at the 34-yard line, the Serra 34-yard line.
Great field position for Serra out of we're used to seeing such great things from Bush. He's had such a tremendous junior year.
Serra's offense back out onto the field with approximately 6 minutes left to play. Here in the first half, we're tied at 3 as Bellarmine's defense now lines up to stop Zach Kazikoff, the quarterback of Serra, on 1st and 10. Option gives it to Redwood towards the right side of that offensive line, trying to utilize that rushing attack as much as they can, making the tackle, Dominic Luca.
Besides that first drive of the game for Serra, when we, both commented on how they were chewing up the clock, they certainly have not been able to establish any momentum, any rhythm on offense since then.
2nd down and 6 upcoming for Serra on their own 38-yard line. They'll bring 2 wide receivers towards the top side. Tight end lined up on the right side of the offensive formation. 3 total wide receivers. They fling it towards the far side of the field. This is Cassidy with the reception as he goes out of bounds or close to the far sideline. And the officials mark him down around the 49.
Is that the first completed pass for Serra tonight?
I believe so. And if you recall, Patrick Walsh hinting that he would like to have at least somewhere around 6 completions here this evening.
Well, and you hear that, perhaps you can hear the Serra fans with loud applause. Serra 0 of 2 in the air last week in their huge win. And need to find a little more success in the air.
Says a lot about your offensive strategy, says a lot about your ground game and what they have in Eric Redwood, or what they're looking for in Zach Kazikoff. On 1st and 10, Redwood tries to sweep it towards the near side, but that Bell's defense doing a great job. Kenneth Olagabode using strength to penetrate the line of scrimmage and make that tackle in the backfield for a loss of 4.
I've never sat down and asked Kenneth Olagabode, but when you watch him play, he's a defensive guy. That is my opinion of him. Of course, he plays so well on offense and can do just so much, but when you watch with the kind of intensity he plays on defense, he's just a joy to watch.
An interesting note, too, when Zach Kazikoff, the quarterback for Serra, heads over towards the far sideline to relay the play, he usually brings 4 wideouts, as he did on that transition. On 2nd down, Kazikoff under pressure, and he's down. Austin Changras coming in, and Kenneth Olagabode finishing him off. Another big loss as Bellarmine's defense steps up.
Well, they say defense wins championships, and we are seeing the defensive pressure on the quarterback. I mean, granted, none of these offenses are pass dominated, but you really have to be so impressed with how both D-lines are getting off the ball.
Austin Changros getting all the pressure right there, forcing Kazakov to make a move, and Oligabodi finishing that play off. It's now 3rd and 18 for Serra from their own 34. This will be a safe handoff to Redwood, who nearly does a cartwheel at the 40-yard line as he tries to maintain his balance. But once again, it will be well shy of the first down marker, resulting in a 4th down.
Bellarmine defense again forcing the Serra punt.
So Tom's out onto the field.
Sanfilippo showing his respect.
And boy, I tell you, you hit the nail on the head as Sanfilippo is around his own 20. Tom standing at his own 27. Better snap this time, and he gets his leg into it. Sanfilippo will back up and take this from his own 15-yard line. Now at his own 25. Goes towards the middle, flags down. As Sanfilippo is tackled at the 31-yard line. That will be in the area of Kyle Eberton, who I believe was trying to set up the block. It may be coming back for Bellarmine.
Sanfilippo actually not showing enough respect, as you see how much air Tom's got underneath it. That's going to go against Bellarmine.
And that will indeed be a holding call against the Bells. And that will push them back considerably. Line of scrimmage was going to be just past the 30-yard line, so this will now push it inside the 20, down to the Bellarmine 15-yard line. So that will wipe out a 17-yard return as you hear the PA announcer relay the call to the fan base here at Independence High School. Great crowd on hand for this open division second-round matchup.
Sean Bellarmine's got a long way to go in 2.5 minutes.
The Bells from their own 15 on 1st and 10. Whistles blow, flag thrown. Phil Beltran busy in this first half. It's going to be a false start against Bellarmine, back-to-back penalties. So the holding call in the 10-yard variety, now it's going to be a false start against Bellarmine. That in the 5-yard variety, 15 yards worth of penalties.
Sean Bellarmine has a long way to go in 2.5 minutes. Even longer.
Carta Samuels directly under center. 3 wide receivers to his left. Vollner at the bottom of your screen. And that one's incomplete to Sanfilippo. Just a quick dump pass over towards the far side. Sanfilippo was the intended target. He had 2 other wide receivers going out and blocking for him. Incomplete pass. It'll bring up 2nd down and 15.
Serra's really taken Sanfilippo out of this game. And Bellarmine, conversely, Redwood as well. Here we're looking at Sanfilippo and Redwood in these run-dominated offenses, and they've been kind of negated.
And what was that first game score, 35-34? Something's telling me it might be
It's going to be a heck of a second half if they're going to meet that.
That's right. On 2nd down and 15 for Bellarmine from their own 15-yard line. Carta Samuels for the first time in the shotgun. It'll be a QB rush as now he steps up, has a huge hole, crosses the 20, and is tackled around the 26-yard line. Nick Maka making another tackle for that Serra defense, but not before quarterback KJ Carta Samuels rips off a nice run.
Well, besides an Oligabodi run earlier in the first quarter, that's been the biggest run of the night for Bellarmine, and that's what Mike Janda has seen progress from Carter Samuels. He always had a strong arm. Now he's making better decisions and getting it done with his feet. Great vision by Carter Samuels.
Carter Samuels running off of the right guard, Colin Birdsell, who did a nice job paving open that running lane. Under 2 minutes to go. Bellarmine now 1st and 10 following that rush. They have all 3 timeouts remaining. Looking for Jared Vollner. A dangerous throw by Carta Samuels. Well overthrown down the far side of the field. Nobody home. Brings up 2nd down and 10.
Vollner beat on that by both the defenders.
And it appeared to be Aesop Winston and Nick Maka down the far side of the field closing in. They were closer to the football than the wide receiver Jared Vollner. Thankfully for Carta Samuels, incomplete. It stays in the possession of Bellarmine. 2nd down and 10 from their own 28-yard line. 1:51 left to play in the second quarter. Bells moving left to right on your screen. Offset formation for Carta Samuels with 2 wide receivers to his right, 1 flanked out deep towards the left. Whistles blow, flag thrown, and this might be a delay of game against Bellarmine. Will it be another penalty against the Bells on this offensive series? If so, it would be their 3rd. And it's going to be a false start. One of the offensive linemen moved, and that's now 20 yards worth of penalties for Bellarmine on this offensive series.
I can just imagine how both teams are going to hear it in the locker room when it comes to the penalties tonight, Sean.
And we put a lot of emphasis on it, Kirsten, because that's not something that you see from a Mike Janda coach football team.
Well, it's not something you want to see at this late in the season as well. And Bellarmine really with not making a lot of personnel changes before this game.
2nd and 15, Oligabode, lone back in the backfield. 3 wide receivers go out. Carta Samuels under pressure. Eludes 1 tackler. At the 15, now he guns it. And the pass is dropped. Jaden Sawyer jumped up to catch that football when he probably didn't need to. Could not bring it in. Results in 3rd down and 15 now for the Bells.
Both quarterbacks have been better than their stats will show when it comes to throwing the ball. We've had some drop passes that should have been caught from both offenses.
And for Serra, that actually works in their favor. It stopped the clock on what now is going to bring up what appears to be a 3rd down try following the play. It stops the clock at 1:44. But we have another penalty now against Bellarmine on that play as KJ Carta Samuels was trying to elude the defense. A holding call against Bellarmine. That's now, if you're keeping track at home, 30 yards worth of penalties for Bellarmine on this offensive series. Their 4th penalty on this series alone.
2nd down in the parking lot, I believe.
2nd down and forever now for the Bells offense. 1st down markers at the 38. They stand up at their own 8. Handoff to Oligabode. Safe rush towards the left side of the offensive line. Whistles blow, and will Patrick Walsh burn a timeout now? It appears he does. He wants to stop that clock and try to utilize as much time as he can for his final offensive attempt of the first half. So Serra burns their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining. 1:36 left to play in the first half. We're tied at 3 between Serra and Bellarmine on PlayOnSports.com.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
4 big penalties for Bellarmine on this offensive series has been the story. On this particular drive, we're tied up at 3. Drop pass by a wide receiver, Jaden Sawyer, didn't help things out. And right now you see a stunned Bellarmine sideline, Kirsten. The fans even pretty quiet so far in this football game.
The fans, I don't think Bellarmine fans could even be this quiet.
No.
They usually have so much to cheer about. Perhaps after a talk with Coach Janda, drawing it up at the break, we'll see a more successful offensive showing by Bellarmine. It's been pretty dismal at this point.
3rd down and forever for Bellarmine now. 1st down marker is at the Bellarmine 38. Bellarmine has it on their own 8-yard line. 2 wide receivers at the bottom. That's Volner and Sanfilippo. Oligabode, the lone back. Carta Samuels under center, man in motion. Sanfilippo from near side to far side. And Oligabode goes left, but Carta Samuels goes down in the end zone. That's a safety. Sacking him is Daniel Lavulo in the end zone. Daniel Lavulo sacks KJ Carta Samuels in the end zone. The pocket broke down. Lavulo gets the sack, and that's 2 points for Serra. They lead 5-3.
The previous play call with the hand facing 3rd and 29 with the handoff to Oligabode, I thought was such a strange play call for the scenario. And then it allows Serra the safety after the sack. Serra We'll have 92 seconds to play with Sean, and the momentum, I think, just swung their way.
Unbelievable as the pocket collapsed. I personally was keeping my eye on Oligabode to see where he was going to get the handoff on 3rd and forever, but instead Bellarmine opts to pass it, and at that point in the drop back, KJ was well into the end zone, and closing in on him was the left defensive end, Daniel Lavulo, number 31, and he gets credit for the sack. The clock has 1 minute and 32 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. So now Serra takes a 5-3 lead. Kirsten, things can really get interesting with 1:32 to go. Keep in mind, Bellarmine Serra still has one timeout on the board to work with.
A few weeks ago, I did the San Jose Andrew Hill game, which was 3-2 at the half. That stood up as the final score. It's a hockey score here tonight thus far.
So here is the punt following the safety. The up man is going to be Angelo Arco for the Padres, just past the 40-yard line at the 41. Serra will have amazing field position to possibly get a couple more points up on the board before the first half comes to a close. Bellarmine sideline silent. The number 1 seed Bells trailing 5-3, a baseball-like score here at Independence High School.
17-yard return by Serra, and you said it, great field position for the Padres.
Padres from their own 41 with 1:26 to work with. Kazakov finally gives it to Redwood, who has a hole. Puts on some moves and is tackled from behind close to the Bellarmine 40. That's Austin Changros making the last-minute tackle, but not before Redwood rips off a big gain right in the heart of the Bellarmine defense.
It took 23 minutes into this game for Eric Redwood to show why he is one of the premier backs in the Central Coast session.
4 wide receivers, 2 to each side now, as Serra is in the hurry-up. Tip ball, incomplete. Looking for the inside receiver on the right side of the offensive formation. Kazakov ripped it. Incomplete pass. Austin Jackson cannot bring it in. Stops the clock at 1:05 remaining. So 1:05 left to go in the second quarter. The football is marked down on the Bellarmine 41-yard line in between the hashes. Serra in the all-white uniforms traveling right to left on your screen. Quarterback Zach Kazakov will line up directly under center with 2 wide receivers to each side. Redwood, the lone back behind him. And he goes down. That's a sack as Bellarmine's defense comes in untouched. Dominic Luca comes in right up the middle, and that's a big loss. It'll bring the line of scrimmage out to the 46, and the clock continues to roll.
Dominic Luca doing a great job containing himself. How fired up are both defenses?
Dominic Luca showing some frustration, showing some anxiety right there, getting up after that big sack, trying to get his defense excited as the clock continues to roll. 27 seconds. Serra chewing up a lot of time. Josh Cordova, the wide receiver, flanked out deep at the bottom of your screen. Kazakov fires middle. Incomplete. And a flag comes in late. We may have a pass interference call against Bellarmine.
You know, there are 3 Bells in the vicinity, and you're right, that flag did come in late. You know, if this penalty goes against Bellarmine, they may have more yardage in penalties tonight than they do on offense.
That was thrown by our back judge, Chris Bioletto, and it will be against Bellarmine. Defensive pass interference against the Bells. Now it's actually going to be changed to a holding call. Holding call against Bellarmine. That brings it out to the Bells' 36-yard line, and the clock will stop at 17 seconds. Keep your eye on the referee, Phil Beltran. He gives the signal. Clock rolls. This is Kazakov looking for the far corner. Incomplete. Jared Vollner doing an excellent job providing the coverage for Bellarmine down the far sideline. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Kazakov making sure not to underthrow that ball, but out of the reach, and as you mentioned, great coverage by Vollner.
Vollner, a speedster as well. Surprised Bellarmine hasn't utilized him a little bit more in their offensive strategy so far in this first half, as Serra now brings the kicker, Anthony Toms, out onto the field with 13 seconds left to play. It's 4th down. The ball's marked down on the 36-yard line.
53.
52, close to a 53-yard field goal try.
Another fake field goal?
We'll see. Bellarmine has all 3 timeouts to work with. They're going to try to block this thing. Keep your eyes on Bellarmine. Toms gives it a boot, and it will be short. It'll be at least 5 yards short. Field goal is no good. Clock has 8 seconds remaining on it, and that will turn the ball over to Bellarmine. So a missed 52-yard field goal by Anthony Toms will give Bellarmine the ball at their own 20 at the high school level. They bring it out to the 20-yard line following a missed field goal try. And I wouldn't be shocked if head coach Mike Jenna just told his quarterback, KJ Carter-Samuels, to take a knee.
Yeah, I think that's the plan here with 8 seconds left on the clock.
With 8 seconds left to play, KJ takes a knee, and that'll do it for the first half here at Independence High School. The number 5 Serra Padres lead the number 1 Bellarmine Bells 5-3. A thriller we have here at Independence High School. Folks, don't go anywhere. Kirsten and I will take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. It's Serra 5, Bellarmine 3 here at Independence High School. Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Kirsten Fairchild's to my right. I'm Sean Hennessy. 5-3 is our score here at Independence High School in favor of the number 5 seed Serra Padres over the number 1 seed Bellarmine Bells. Serra very impressive defensively in that first half, and they managed to get a safety of all things late in that second quarter. Daniel Lavulo gets the sack. Safety sacks quarterback KJ Carter-Samuels in the end zone, and that gives us a 5-3 score. Normally we'd run down all the different types of scoring updates we have for you, but really it's been a 36-yard field goal by Anthony Toms of Serra and a 29-yard field goal by Grant Bush outside of the safety that we have to talk about. The score currently stands at 5-3 in favor of Serra. But Kirsten, I think one of the big topics that we were talking about off air a few seconds ago, the penalties. It's really the story so far in that first half against Bellarmine. Shot themselves in the foot towards the end of that first half.
Right, and nothing to take away from the Serra defense, which has gotten pressure on Carter-Samuels so often tonight. But Bellarmine, oh gosh, Coach Janda, I'm sure, is just hammering this home to the guys. I mean, the first few were surprising, and now it's just incredibly surprising and how much this has hurt Bellarmine. And, I had a chance to call a game earlier this season that had a safety after a snap went over the head of the punter through the back of the end zone. But Serra, right now, you have to give your nod to the Padres, and you have to give the nod to them as playing better. They have certainly committed penalties as well. Their pass game, they have not been able to establish it. I think just one completed pass in the first half, and that doesn't go against Kazakov so much because there are at least 2 dropped balls as well by receivers who should have made those catches. But it's the Serra defense that really has wreaked havoc. I mean, just think about it. We had one long run by Ola Gabodi for a first down and one long run by Carter-Samuels for a first down. That's been it, Sean.
When I take a look at that Serra defense, Aesop Winston, a name that we called a couple times, but for the most part been pretty quiet. He's doing a heck of a job in that first half, and I say that because he had to cover Joey Sanfilippo, who's a speedster, and Bellarmine has started to utilize Jared Volner on those deep seam routes, and he's doing a nice job forcing Volner towards the sideline and really cutting off his route before he has a chance to really open up down the sideline.
Well, I think that high school football fans at the various CCS games are looking, checking their updates, checking in with us on PlayOnSports.com and saying, what is going on at Independence High School? How can the halftime score be 5-3 in favor of Serra? But you have to admire both teams. They obviously came in so well. The preparation so spot on. Sanfilippo's been taken out of this game. Redwood has been taken out of this game for the most part. Ola Gabodi, the weapons are known, and each team is doing a great job diffusing the weapons. Someone else is either going to have to stand up, or we're just going to continue with this defensive battle.
And I tell you what, if you were just flipping around the internet world and saw a 5-3 score, you'd think it's a baseball game we have here at Independence High School. You're tuning in to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. About 8 minutes away from the kickoff to start the third quarter. 5-3 is our score in favor of Serra. Winner of this game will take on St. Ignatius Midi. That matchup tomorrow night, 7 p.m. right here on PlayOnSports.com. Kirsten Fairchilds will have the call. Kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. It should be a great one, but in the meantime, Serra Bellarmine, really the defensive battle that's taking place here in that first half. You go back to the first game, Kirsten, 35-34. It was such an offensive explosion in the rushing game, the passing attack. One of the things that I noticed, and I'll go back to the question you asked me earlier on in that first half, was what is the difference or what are some similarities that I'm noticing? In that first game, they really stretched the field out. They had a lot of seam routes by both teams. Jared Volner of Bellarmine, Joey Sanfilippo, and we even saw for Serra, they utilized Eric Redwood in the passing game and Austin Jackson quite a bit down the field. But tonight, so far, it's been the story of the rushing attack, the utilization of both teams' rushing attacks, and the defense's ability to stop that and make it such a low-scoring affair.
Well, when you look at Serra Padres' stats as a team for the year, they're averaging 335 yards a game rushing. I mean, that's just insane. Bellarmine, against a very good Terra Nova defense last week, had 225 yards rushing. So, again, the playmakers have been taken out of this game thus far. We'll see if they get back to, as you say, stretching out the field. For Carter Samuels, his time has not been bought for him. He has not had a lot of time in a form pocket that hasn't broken down. He's actually really good on the run, rolling out, but just the Serra pressure just keeps coming.
Serra 9-2 on the year. They went 5-2 in the WCAL. Bellarmine 10-1, perfect in the WCAL, 7-0. Serra, they've lost 6 straight years to Bellarmine, so they want to prove something here tonight. They want to try to knock off this school that represented Northern California in last year's state bowl game down at the Home Depot Center in Carson. Bellarmine was knocked off by Santa Margarita 42-37. Earlier in the year, Bellarmine's only loss, they were defeated by De La Salle, a game that you were at, Kirsten, at San Jose City College. So we have a lot of talent on both these two teams. You take a look at Serra, their last loss came to St. Francis, 24-0 to end the year. And I know when I was down on the field talking with the other high school media pundits here at the game, it was a shocker that Serra just really kind of keeled over towards the end of the year, 24-0. It set them up at a five seed spot to take on Palo Alto. If they were to knock off St. Francis, they would have probably had a higher seeding, and I just can't help to think about that, if there could have been possibility of Serra at maybe a 2 seed or 3 seed in this open division. But
yeah, it would have broken the tie that they finished in with St. Ignatius. Mm-hmm. And yes, you're exactly right. Maybe they would have been the 4 seed instead. It's hard to predict, but oh my gosh, going back to that St. Francis shutout, I mean, that was the kind of thing you're like, is the score right on the internet? Is that possibly right? But I had a chance to watch St. Francis earlier in the season, and their defense is mighty fine, and I guess it was just completely stellar against Serra. But where St. Francis struggled earlier in the season, and that was against Bellarmine, was with their offense. So the fact that they put 24 points up on this Serra defense is a bit of a surprise.
And some scoring updates. San Benito on top of Salinas 14-7. Aptos is trailing right now 20-7. And I know the big one I was looking at, Wilcox and Los Gatos, 7-6 in favor of Los Gatos in the second quarter. We have a lot of games going on here on the scoreboard.
And then St. Francis in the third quarter just broke a 7-7 tie with Aragon. And then, as our scores scroll through, there comes our Serra 5, Bellarmine 3. There's been some pretty decent scoring games already. This one certainly the lowest scoring out of all the semifinals today.
It should be an interesting finish as we get ready to start the second half here at Independence High School. Folks, when we come back, we'll have the third quarter kickoff live from Independence High School here in San Jose, California. You're tuning in to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Eric Redwood and Vince Camp back deep to return the ball for Serra to start the third quarter here at Independence High School. 5-3 our score. At the half, Serra on top of Bellarmine. Bellarmine will be kicking off left to right on your screen, wearing the all-blue uniforms. The number 1 seed. Serra in the all-white, moving right to left. Penalties, the big story of the first half for Bellarmine. Mike Janda, the head coach of the Bells, definitely brought that up. You have to assume at the half to his team. They got to fix that first and foremost if they want to come out of here victorious and advance to the finals of the Open Division. Second half underway. A high kickoff by Grant Bush will be taken by Camp. Camp smothered at the 22-yard line.
You have to give the nod to Serra for their performance in the first half, especially their defensive line. The Padres up 5-3, Sean. And the Bellarmine crowd has been taken out of this one. It's nice to see them on their feet here at the start of the second half.
Serra lines up in the double wing. Man in motion, that's Redwood. Loose ball fumbled on the first play. Bellarmine recovers. It's a botched exchange from center to quarterback Zach Kazikoff. I don't even think he got his hands on it, and Bellarmine recovers.
That is actually our first turnover of the game, despite some threats at interceptions in the first half. Bellarmine looking for a spark. We'll see if the Bells can build upon this.
So Bellarmine now with the football on the Serra 23. Handoff, right side, Oligabode. Great running room as he crosses inside the 20. What a turn of events in one play to start the second half. A gain of 6.
And Bellarmine abandoning their double wing formation on that play, Sean. It'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments they do make, as Serra really just took away their run attack in the first half.
So Bellarmine starting this drive on the Serra 28-yard line. They now have it on the Padre 18. Right hash mark moving left to right. Carta Samuels under center. Stretch rush play to Oligabode. Gets past one defender. Stops at the 15 to cut it back inside. Finally tackled as he crosses the first down marker. Nick Maka with the tackle, but it will be a first down for the Bells. Oligabode on the stretch play right there. KJ Carta Samuels really having to drive down that offensive line to hand the ball off to his star running back. It will result in a fresh set of downs for Bellarmine. The ball now placed on the 12-yard line.
And again, more of an I formation. The first two plays as now they're back in the double wing.
Double wing look. Another soft, short pitch to the ball carrier, and getting the call that time was Gavin Lynham, taking what appears to be his first carry in the football game. As it's now going to be second down for Bellarmine. We're in the third quarter. If you're just tuning in and took a break, Serra on the first play of the third quarter botched the football exchange from center to quarterback Zach Kazikoff. Never got his hand on it, and the defensive line of Bellarmine recovered. Now the Bells with the ball on second down and 7. Lynham in motion. This will be a handoff to Changras, who goes right side. Inside the 10. And it will bring up third down for Bellarmine as they march down inside the 10-yard line. Austin Changras, more known for his defensive playmaking abilities, but they will flank him out as a wide receiver every now and then, right there taking the call. It'll bring up third down and close to 5 for Bellarmine. First down marker at the 3-yard line. The football is pinned down close to the 8. Changras, this time the fullback, directly behind the quarterback, KJ Carta Samuels. He keeps it himself. Tackled at the 10, driving forward. Will get some help from his offensive line. Alex Rollins, the left guard, pushed his quarterback inside the 5-yard line. It will be first and goal for Bellarmine.
Carter Samuels looked to be stopped for sure.
That was reminiscent of the Bush push right there. If you're a big college football fan.
Absolutely, against Notre Dame.
right there. And then actually, Kirsten, they're going to mark it now. Now the chain's reset, or they're going to go for a measurement. That's what we have. The clock is stopped. Our referee, Phil Beltran, wants to bring the chains out for an official measurement as the left guard, Alex Rollins, assisted the quarterback, KJ Carter-Samuels, for some extra yardage, pushing that line of scrimmage as they stretch the chains out on the right side of your screen. It will be short by inches. And it will bring up third down. You see Dominic Luca, the senior 220-pounder, look over towards the sideline, puts one finger, rotates, and says, hey, coach, let's go. Let's keep this drive going on fourth down now for Bellarmine.
Well, and you would think anything in inches would be somewhat of a sure thing for Bellarmine, but not in this game tonight. Serra has been winning the battle in the trenches, and they need a strong defensive stand here.
Fourth down for the Bells on the Padre 3. Serra's going to bring anyone and everyone on that defense towards the line of scrimmage. On fourth down, Carter-Samuels barks out the call to Chaingross. Directly behind him, Ogalabode is the tailback, and one of the Padre D linemen crossed the line of scrimmage. It will be a penalty against Serra and a Bellarmine first down. A penalty that just cannot happen. Encroachment called against Serra, 5 yards. It will now be first and goal for the Bells on the 1.
Serra wondering how things went so bad so quickly here. They were set to return the ball first at the start of this half, and we've been hammering Bellarmine and their penalties all night. That was perhaps the hugest of the night.
First and 10, Bellarmine on the 1 yard line. 9 minutes and 19 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Pitch, far side. Oligabode stretches, touchdown! One yard rushing touchdown for Kenneth Oligabode gives Bellarmine the lead.
Last week against Terra Nova, Kenneth Oligabode, 151 yards and 2 TDs. That was an excellent play call by Coach Janda.
That puts the score at 9-5. PAT pending for Grant Bush. Holder is Connor Bridgman. And the PAT try is good. It's now 10-5 Bells as they take their first lead in the football game. 10-5, 9 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter. What a turn of events, Kirsten, to start the third quarter. Serra botches the snap, fumble, loose ball, Bellarmine recovers, and they go 6 plays, 28 yards. It's capped off with a 1 yard rushing score by Oligabode.
And it gets Bellarmine fans into this game. This stadium here is so large. Perhaps folks viewing and looking at the opposing sideline with Serra thinking, not too many people turned out for this game. No, there are plenty of people out for this game. It's just that the school has over 4,000 students, and this stadium so large, and now the sizable Bellarmine crowd is into this game.
And I was joking with our good friend from the Mercury News, Darren, to my left, that these bleachers stretch well past both end zones, over 110 yards worth of bleacher space here at Independence High School. As the ensuing kickoff will be taken around the 13-yard line. That's Camp, who tries to work it towards the middle, follows some blockers, and falls forward close to the 27-yard line.
Serra looking to right their shift. Redwood really has been taken out of this ball game by this Bellarmine defense, and you'd like to see them chew up some yardage here if you're a Padre fan.
Serra turned the ball over on their previous series. It was a fumble from the center QB exchange. This will be their second offensive series of the second half. They trail 10-5, 9:05 left to play in the third quarter. Padres moving right to left in the all-white uniforms. Bellarmine's linebacking core steps up. This will be a rush towards the middle. Nowhere to go, as Bellarmine's defense and Kyle Eberton come to play. Appeared to be a QB keeper by Kazakov. No yardage gained. Second down and 10.
There are a lot of aspects of both these teams' games that have been missing tonight, but what hasn't been missing is the defensive play of both teams. And Bellarmine came out of the locker room, Sean, as if they had been given a talking to. They are inspired and motivated at this point.
2nd down and 10. Fake the pitch towards the near side. Handoff to the ball carrier. Flag thrown. Angelo Arco took the call, and he was flung down by the face mask as he did a spin close to the 30. That's where the flag marker is, and more than likely, this will be a face mask against Bellarmine.
It's going to be an incidental face mask. And Bellarmine, once again, here come the Hankies.
And the incidental is definitely what you want if you were to take a face mask penalty as opposed to the intentional, which is the big one. That one in the 5-yard variety. So the officials will count forward and pace the ball out to the 37-yard line. That's where the new line of scrimmage will be. At the 37, in between the hashes. 8:23 left to play in the third quarter. As Serra makes a couple substitutions, heading towards the sideline is Angelo Arco. He'll catch a breather. 2nd down and 1. Handoff, Redwood. This will be a near side sweep. Crosses the 40. Look at this kid fly down the near sideline, inside the 50-yard line. Eric Redwood, just when you think that hole's going to close, he manages to turn on the jets and picks up a 1st down for Serra.
He is slippery indeed. You know, we've had such great lateral pursuit by the Bellarmine defense that has been the first time really since the first quarter that Redwood's been able to turn the corner.
He broke the Bellarmine contain on that play, and like you said, Kirsten, first time tonight. 1st and 10, Padres at the Bellarmine 46. Kazakov opts to keep it himself. Falls inside the 45, down at the 44-yard line. Count that for a gain of close to 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down for Serra as they cross over into Bellarmine territory.
You know, both Arco comes in averaging 6.62 yards per carry. Redwood averaging 7.41 yards per carry. He averages 154.9 yards per game. You'd like to see also Arco he's only had 1 carry tonight.
Redwood in motion on your screen. Delayed handoff to the fullback. This is Fiat Malapiai, who works the right side. Big number 40 taking the call. Out inside the 40-yard line.
Both teams in the second half here in the early minutes able to run the ball a lot more efficiently than for most of the first half.
And Kirsten, you mentioned Redwood a moment ago. In the previous matchup, he had 23 carries for 187 yards and 4 scores. Tonight, he has been held to minimal yardage, but we'll see if that can change on the pitch play to Redwood, who spins out of a tackle. Forward progress will mark him down around the 36-yard line. Very close to the 1st down marker.
You know, Ola Gabodi versus Redwood, as far as like dimension statistics go, they seem such different runners, but it's the size of the fight in the player, and they're very similar in their spin moves, their constant quest for just more yardage.
And Kirsten, how about this? It appears that they are inches away from the 1st down marker, and now our referee, Phil Beltran, says official timeout. He wants a measurement. They're going to bring the chains over once again as the ball is marked down in between the 36 and 37-yard line. They're not. They're actually going to keep the chains on the side. They're going to say no. The play will stand. It's 4th and inches. And now we get a timeout. Serra burns their first timeout of the second half. They have 2 remaining. The score is 10-5 in favor of Bellarmine here at Independence High School.
Would you like to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? If so, please let your school know and sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. This program allows schools to broadcast all of their games as well as other school activities all on the web. For more information, please visit playonsports.com/SBP.
6 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Kirsten Fairchilds to my right. I'm Sean Hennessy. We're broadcasting to you live from Independence High School here in San Jose, California. Serra with the football following their timeout. They have 2 timeouts left to play. Bellarmine with all 3 here in the second half. It will be 4th and inches around the Bellarmine 36. Double wing lined up for the Padres. Pitch play goes to Redwood. Stutters, falls forward inside the 35. That'll be a Serra first down. He needed a couple inches. Picks up close to 3 yards.
We saw conversely on Bellarmine's last drive that 4th and short, and then Carter Samuels able to draw the Padres offside. So both teams with their back against the wall able to convert in some fashion.
And you talk to Coach Patrick Walsh of Serra. That's his bread and butter. He loves those toss plays to his stud running back Eric Redwood. Shockingly enough, that was the exact play or similar play that Serra could not convert on the 2-point try in the previous matchup that cost them the football game. In the meantime, Kava Cassidy works the far side of the field, tries to dance a little bit and find some room. Picks up maybe 2 yards on the ground, brings up 2nd down.
Cassidy did have some room to run, but he stumbled a bit after receiving the ball, and that cost him.
Artificial field here at Independence High School, as are a lot of the public schools here in the Central Coast section. Beautiful field, practically brand new here at Independence High School as it's 2nd down. Redwood takes it left side. He's tackled and finally drugged down as the defense closed in. Jaden Sawyer, number 2 for Bellarmine, playing contain on that play, forcing Redwood to try to cut it back inside. Did a nice job staying home, and that results in a 3-yard loss.
Great team speed by Bellarmine. They let Redwood get around them once. They weren't going to let it happen again.
Assisting on the tackle for Bellarmine was Colin Birdsell, number 50 as well. Great job coming up and making a tackle. It's now 3rd down and 11 following the 3-yard loss. Double wing, Redwood in motion. This will be a pass. Kazakov looking his direction on the wheel route. Now gets rid of it. Intercepted. It's dropped. No interception, in and out of the hands of Joe Castagnani. Normally a sure defender, a sure receiver who plays tight end on offense, cannot hold on to the football.
You know, Kazakov trying to avoid the sack there and getting it away, but I believe his arm was partially hit. He should never have thrown that ball. Sometimes you got to, even if it's 3rd and long, you got to tuck.
It'll bring up 4th down as the entire Bellarmine sideline held their breath on that play. Castagnani unable to come up with the interception. San Filippo will line up as the return man on 4th down. Kazakov was under center. And this is a formation that Serra has actually used a couple times throughout the year.
I'm not so sure if that's going to go well. Kazakov looks like it's going to go against Bellarmine.
He was trying to bark out the call to see if perhaps he could get encroachment or offsides in the defense, and he does just that. The penalty goes against Bellarmine. So what does that do? Well, it takes the line of scrimmage from the 39-yard line out to the 31.
We're not going to have the 48-yard field goal attempt.
I beg your pardon, from the 36 out to the 31. So Serra's going to go for it. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 6. Kazakov looking for the slant, fires middle, batted, incomplete. And for the 2nd straight play, Joe Castagnani, the linebacker, has the ball tipped to him, falls out of his hands, but it's a turnover on downs.
Even if Bellarmine comes through with a win tonight, I think Castagnani's going to be tossing and turning in his bed this evening.
We like to call that a TOD, turnover on downs for Serra. They cannot convert on 4th down and 6. Gutsy call by head coach Patrick Walsh. Does not pay off, and the Bells take over on their own 31. With 4:18 left to play in the 3rd quarter, Bellarmine 10, Serra 5. Winner of this game advances to the final matchup, the championship matchup in the CCS Open Division. 1st and 10, Changras gets the call, slips one tackle, cannot slip the second as he falls forward to the 31-yard line. Kirsten, I'm just curious because that was a gutsy play call by head coach Patrick Walsh on that last play. you go for it in that situation?
You know, I'm a little surprised because he has so much confidence in his kicker, and I would have thought he would give it a try. He must see something that we don't. Sean, I believe Sanfilippo has touched the ball less than 5 times thus far in this game.
It would have been a 48-yard field goal try for Toms, who missed from 52 earlier. And how about this, as Carta Samuels tries to escape the pressure that's being put on him, Daniel Lavulo tackles him in the backfield. He'll get credit for the tackle. Don't forget, Lavulo was the player that had the sack in the end zone back in the second quarter that gave Serra an extra 2 points.
D-line for both teams tonight, but Serra tonight giving a clinic on how to get off the ball.
Daniel Lavulo penetrating that offensive line, doing a superb job in this football game. He gets credit for the tackle. Now it's 3rd down and 11. Bellarmine with the ball from their own 30. They bring Joey Sanfilippo wide towards the bottom of your screen. Jared Vollner wide towards the left side. Carta Samuels looking for the screen. Flushed out near side, needs to get rid of it. Finally does. And now a late flag comes in. Sanfilippo was the intended target. We may have a late push in the back by the cornerback. On defense, this might be coming against Serra.
This penalty will hurt.
On 3rd and 11, it's defensive pass interference, and that will be a 1st down for Bellarmine. The last thing you want to see, if you're a Serra fan tuning in at home on 3rd and 11, KJ Carta Samuels was rolling out towards the near sideline, just trying to maybe pick up some extra yardage before the punt, and there were at least 2 defensive backs from Serra closing in on Sanfilippo, and they pushed him in the back as he was getting ready to catch the ball. Defensive pass interference.
Again, Bellarmine bailed out by a defensive penalty on Serra in this half. The first one on 4th and short. Back in the 3rd quarter. Or excuse me, at the start of this quarter.
1st and 10, Bellarmine following the defensive pass interference on their own 45-yard line. Sanfilippo in motion from near side to far side. Handoff goes to Olugabode, left side. Look at him break away through that defensive skirmish at the 50. A late flag from our referee, Phil Beltran, well after Olugabode was down on the ground. As he looks over towards his officiating staff, and we're going to have a personal foul face mask against Serra. This is the big one that we were talking about earlier.
We talked about Bellarmine in the first half and their consecutive penalties. This time it's the Serra defense. The captains of the Serra defense really have to get this team. And you see the number of substitutions here coming in for the defense.
And Kirsten, I say this is the one that we were talking about earlier. That was not an incidental face mask that we saw earlier on in this football game. That is a 15-yard penalty, and now Bellarmine crosses over into Serra territory on the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Bells in between the hashes. Stretch rush towards the near side to Olugabode, who tries to bring it inside the 33-yard line. He'll get close to 3 yards on the ground, but that's such a huge penalty. A 15-yard face mask call against Serra. Before that, it was a defensive pass interference.
Serra, again, they must have gone into the locker room with such positive hopes for this second half, had the momentum. They hadn't been able to establish their offense, but I don't expect it. They expected it to go so downhill here in the second half.
2nd down and 7, 1:42 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Handoff goes left side. Taking the call is Gavin Lynham, working the left side of that offensive line in between Dominic Luca, the left tackle, and Alex Rollins, the left guard. Picks up about 4 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and close to 4. 1st down marker for Bellarmine is at the Serra 25.
That's the 3rd carry for Lynham in this game. He's having one of those quiet games. He's not given a lot of touches, but he exactly where they want to be. 3rd and short.
1 minute, 8 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. 10-5 Bellarmine. 3rd down. This will be a pitch to Olugabode. Has some nice blocking in front. Slips off one tackle and brings it down inside the 20.
Great blocking by Lynham up front to help Olugabode extend that play.
Takes more than one defender to bring down Kenneth Olugabode. At 6'1", 205, he's a big target, but he brings a lot of power when he touches the ball. It's 1st and 10 for Bellarmine at the Serra 18-yard line. Red zone opportunity for the Bells. KJ Carter-Samuels spins towards the far side on a QB keeper. Designed rollout out to the 15. A gain of 3. 2nd down upcoming.
Bellarmine with chewing up the clock here in the 3rd quarter, keeping the Serra defense out on the field. Well, actually, Serra's defense helping Serra's defense stay out on the field so long.
And head coach Mike Janda keeping his quarterback towards the near sideline. 11 seconds left on the game clock, and he will bring his offense towards the Bellarmine sideline, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter. When we come back, it will be 2nd down and 7 for Bellarmine on the Serra 15. Red zone opportunity for the Bells. They lead 10-5 here on PlayOnSports.com.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You all may also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Let's get you caught up to speed on the scoring updates in this matchup. 10-5 is our score here as we get ready to start the 4th quarter. Way back in the 1st quarter, it was Anthony Toms with a 36-yard field goal that gave the Padres a 3-0 lead. And then later on in the 2nd quarter, Grant Bush kicked a 29-yard field goal for Bellarmine, tied the game at 3. And then toward the winding moments of the 2nd quarter, Daniel Lavulo sacked quarterback KJ Carter-Samuels for a safety in the end zone, and that made the score 5-3 in favor of Serra at the half. But then a few moments ago, Serra fumbles the ball on the first play to start the 3rd quarter. Bellarmine recovers and then is able to march the ball 6 plays down the field for just 28 yards. And it's Kenneth Olugabode for a 1-yard rushing touchdown. And that's where we stand, 10-5 in favor of Bellarmine right now, Kirsten. A huge opportunity to really stretch this score wide open. 2nd down and 6 for Bellarmine on the Serra 15.
Absolutely. Serra has not been able to string enough plays together when on offense, and Bellarmine chance to really get in the driver's seat.
This is Olugabode with some nice blocking across the far side of the field, stretching that play out as he crosses inside the 10. Lynham was the back next to him, providing some blocking space. And it will be a 1st down. It was 2nd down and 6. Olugabode picks up close to 7. And it's now 1st and goal, Bellarmine.
Bellarmine's really Olugabode's really putting this Bellarmine team on his back here. Ever since the 2nd half began, Olugabode has been able to pick up more yardage per carry.
We're in the 4th quarter now. Bellarmine switches sides, moving right to left on your screen. It's 1st and goal for the Bells on the Padres 7. No flag, and you even saw Kenneth Olugabode, the tailback, drop his head like, oh, you got to be kidding me. No flag was thrown at the last second. We see a late flag come in from referee Phil Beltran.
Serra has been really good at the finger pointing today. And it looks like that's going to pay off.
That'll be a 5-yard penalty against Bellarmine. False start. One of the offensive linemen moved. 5-yard penalty, so the new line of scrimmage is now the 12-yard line for Bellarmine. It'll be 1st and goal from the 12.
I don't know. It almost seemed as if the officiating crew needed to be talked into that penalty. Olugabode didn't help his team's cause.
No, he didn't. 1st and goal for Bellarmine at the 12 following the false start penalty. KJ Carter-Samuels will stretch this out to Olugabode, who goes left side, has a blocker, and is now tied up by at least 3 white jerseys around the 11-yard line.
Sean, just how long has this Serra defense been on the field here in the 2nd half? I mean,
seems like eons.
I'm sure it does for them as well. Seems like maybe they're a half a step slower. but able to contain Oligabodi on that play.
Cody Brown getting credit for that previous tackle, playing the inside linebacker spot for Serra. He'll need some help from his linebacking core on this next play. Bunched up, Oligabodi gets the toss. Now he flushes it out far side, inside the 5, still alive, leans for the end zone. No call yet. Touchdown, there it is. Oligabodi gets the touchdown, an 11-yard strike.
He has been their go-to guy when it comes to short yardage, and what a great step to his side. Great shuffle by Oligabodi to break loose for the TD.
Oligabodi helps Bellarmine really open up this football game as Grant Bush comes on to try the PAT. It's perfect. It's now 17-5 in favor of Bellarmine. And if you're a Serra fan, Kirsten, with 10:19 to go in this football game, your quarterback, Zach Kazikoff, hasn't had too many passing opportunities, and the passing opportunities that he has had have almost fallen into the hands of Joe Castagnani on defense for Bellarmine, but now we're almost going to see this Serra offense totally have to switch their tactic up because they trail 17-5 and they've got 10:19 to go.
Well, that's what's so surprising about Serra's first-round win over Palo Alto. They put up 52 points all on the ground, or with the special teams unit. They were 0 for 2 in the air. So Serra obviously able to score on their running game. We have seen Redwood find himself more yardage here in the second half. But this Serra offense really has to string some first downs together and give their defense a rest.
Kazikoff, the senior, 6'1", 165-pounder, will have his work cut out for him. His team trails by 12 points in the fourth quarter. On the line, a trip to the championship game in the CCS Open Division. Kickoff goes into the end zone. Grant Bush drills it.
That is our first touchback of the night, and I'm so surprised with these two kickers. It seems like they've been getting underneath the ball. We've had such very high kickoffs, but now Bush able to reach the end zone.
That's a great point, because on Bush's previous kickoffs, they were a mile high, and they were taken around the 20-yard line. It really gave Serra a great opportunity to start around their own 35.
Serra consistently has good field position tonight.
So the Padres from their own 20 will work the ball. Kazikoff hands it off towards the inside to Redwood, I beg your pardon. He takes it out to the 30. And that's a beautiful gain for Serra, 10 yards. Officials say first down, move the chain. So first play of this offensive series results for a gain of 10.
Hey, things have not come easy for the Serra offense tonight, and to convert and receive a first down on one play has been startling.
Kazikoff moving this offense quickly now as Cassidy tries to find some room, and he does. On the sweep handoff towards the far sideline, Cassidy picks up over 10 yards on the ground. Back-to-back rushing plays for Serra result in over 20 yards on the ground, and they will move the chains once again.
Well, I didn't know it was going to happen in just 2 plays, but I did just say that Serra needs to string some first downs together, get some rhythm going, some tempo going. They have not had an opportunity to do that.
Josh Cordova, the wide receiver, flanked out at the bottom of your screen. This will be a handoff up the middle. It results in minimal yardage, maybe 3 yards. There's 9 minutes and 33 seconds left to play here in the fourth quarter. Getting ahead of myself as I look at the game clock to figure out where we are at in terms of the time, because Serra is moving quickly now. No huddle. Sweep play towards the inside. Angelo Arco.
A good solid run by Arco. Serra able to find some holes, some real estate, if you will, on this drive.
And Serra, now they begin to huddle, but very quickly as they get that play call in from head coach Patrick Walsh. Serra with the ball now. 3rd down and 2 from their own 49. Toss. Redwood has a lane at the 40. Stiff arm off Sanfilippo and picks up ginormous yardage down the far sideline, close to the 30.
Bellarmine's got to wrap up those tackles, Sean. Had a chance to stop Redwood.
And great job by the blocking on that outside edge of the double wing formation for Serra. They really broke that one open. And now the Padres have it 1st and 10 on the Bellarmine 31. Moving left to right, 8:42 left to play. Play action, Kazakov looking far corner, has a man caught! It's caught around the 5-yard line, falling back for the ball and making a tremendous grab is Zachary Mitchell.
What a gutsy play call. The air game, the passing game has not been there for Serra tonight. Perfect opportunity to sting this Bellarmine defense.
1st and goal, Padres from the 5, toss to Redwood. Down to the 1, no, he got in, touchdown! Eric Redwood from 5 yards out. We've got a ball game.
Well, we are kind of joking, Sean, at the half that with our 5-3 score, so short of the previous score total, but we said who knows what's going to happen in the second half. They could get their offenses going and start racking up some points.
Serra goes 7 plays, 80 yards, and it will be capped off with a 5-yard rushing score by Eric Redwood as the PAT try by Toms is good. That now makes the score 17-12 in favor of Bellarmine. Kirsten, what the heck happened across the far side of the field right there? This Serra offense decided to play ball. It just took them 3 quarters to do it.
Hey, well, with the players that don't play both ways, I think they were sick and tired of seeing the Bellarmine offense having all the fun out on the field. And sometimes having an opportunity to watch the game can be the biggest motivator of all. And just what a picture-perfect drive, if you will, by the Serra Padres.
I tell you what, if I'm head coach Patrick Walsh, I'm using that same tempo that my team just utilized on that previous offensive series. They go 7 plays, 80 yards, and realistically, I think they started this drive with just under 11 minutes left on the clock. There's 8:27 to go. I mean, we're talking about just over 2 minutes they chewed up in terms of offensive driving. That was an unbelievable drive by the Serra Padres.
I'm sure the Serra defense doesn't even mind that their rest was so short. 2 minutes and 9 seconds that drive. I was thinking onside kick.
And Toms kicks it out of bounds. Serra tried to catch Bellarmine off guard, and they did. But the kicker, Anthony Toms, had too much juice on it. And this is going to give Bellarmine amazing field position.
I just think there's too much time left in this game. Toms would have been better served to kick it and, to have a touchback and take that return game away from Bellarmine.
Bellarmine's going to have it, folks, from their own 43-yard line. That ball went out of bounds at the 43. Janda opts to keep the ball right there, accepts the penalty as it goes out of bounds. Bellarmine in business. They lead 17-12. 8:27 left to play. Carta Samuels under center. Both teams sidelines. The fans really getting into it now. Oligabode, stretch rush, tied up in the backfield. Making the hit was Fia Malapiai.
Malapia, what a great season he's had. He comes into this game with 4 sacks. One of the leaders on the Serra defense for sure.
Fia Malapiai, big number 40 down there on the field for Serra. 215 pounds, broke through the offensive line and brought down the 205-pound Oligabode. Not an easy target to break down or take down, as that play results in a loss of 2. Bellarmine now will attempt to chew up as much clock as they can, as they have a 5-point lead, and now Mike Janda burns a timeout. He calls a late timeout for Bellarmine on 2nd down, 7:44 left to play in the 4th quarter. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining here on PlayOnSports.com.
Folks, make sure you stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show, where we will select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
On the previous offensive series, Serra went 7 plays, 80 yards, and it was capped off with a 5-yard rushing touchdown by the big tailback Eric Redwood. PAT good. That puts the score at 17-12, and now Bellarmine, following a big loss of yardage, a loss of 2 right there by the tailback Olugabode. It was the inside linebacker Malapai who came in with the tackle. Will face a 2nd down and 12 following the timeout.
The season is going to be over for one of these teams, Sean, which could be said is a shame. It's all come down to this.
2nd down and 12. Double wing setup for Bellarmine. Play action. Carta Samuels going out towards the far side. Holds on to it. Now let's go. He delivered it across the field. A dangerous throw. Once again intended for Alex Abiog. We've seen him become the main target for Bellarmine this evening.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprise because Volner and Sanfilippo, since Sanfilippo's been playing that receiver position, Abiog just fell down on his own volition. Thank goodness there weren't any Padres close to him. If you're a Serra fan, the turf got him.
That play stops the clock. Incomplete pass, 7 minutes, 37 seconds left to play here at Independence High School. 3rd down and 12. Serra sideline really getting into it now. The student section going crazy. Now the Bellarmine side tries to root on their offense. On 3rd down and 12. We'll see if the defense brings pressure. They do. On the outside edge. Delayed handoff to Olugabode. Makes a cut. Tackled at the 50. A tremendous play by Nick Maka. Coming up from the linebacker role, the safety position, and making that stop. If he didn't make that tackle, Olugabode could have broke it for big-time yardage.
And I'm surprised that Serra was burned as much on that. They were definitely thinking pass all the way.
It's now 4th down and 3.
Fake punt.
Whoa. It would be fitting for this type of matchup. And you see Patrick Walsh across the far side of the field yelling at his special teams unit. And I think he's doing what you just said. Watch for the fake punt as Grant Bush lines up at his own 37. Takes the snap, and he sends it away, nearly blocked. Puts it a mile high. It'll bounce at the 22. It takes a bell's roll. Special teams does their job as it goes down to the 11-yard line. Grant Bush delivers. Whew. A lot of action right there. My goodness, just when you think there's a possibility of a fake, and Grant Bush barely got that ball away. The special teams player for Serra was closing in.
Well, and great job by him by not running into Bush, having his forward momentum carry him into. Serra averaging 37.5 points per game this season. They need to get 7 more.
Serra from their own 12-yard line. We'll give it to Arco. He works the right side of the offensive formation out to the 20.
You know, you ask yourselves on these last 2 Serra possessions, what is happening differently with this Bellarmine defense? Why has Serra been able to run on them for decent yardage on every carry?
And Kirsten, you're seeing Serra go back to their old tempo. We'll see if that hurts them here. 6 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter. Handoff, Redwood works the left side. Olugabode coming up and making the tackle as his helmet pops off. Heck, he doesn't need it. That's how much of a stud that kid is. As he makes the tackle for Bellarmine, he'll have to come towards the sideline.
Olugabode's going to need his equipment attended to. Look at the energy, the pep in the step. The heads held high for the Serra Padres.
Redwood in motion from that right side wing slot position.
Those weren't players on the field. They were a bridge for Redwood to cross and pick up more yardage. I think he just walked across the top of them.
He's utilizing his offensive line as a stepping stool late in the 4th quarter.
Might have gotten a few bells on that as well.
Olugabode checks back in. Heading towards the sideline and catching a breather is Alex Rollins, number 56. 2nd down. Handoff to Arco. Arco has a nice lane. Stood up close to the 40. Forward progress will mark him down at the 35-yard line. Correction, at the 35. but that will be a first down. Arco picks up enough for a Serra first down that will move the chains. 5:09 left to play.
Well, you might not expect such a low-scoring game, Sean, but you would of course expect such a nail-biter.
Toss, far side, Redwood stood up once again. The Bells defense, Kyle Eberton came in and made the first initial hit, but he had a swarm of Bells defenders assisting him.
Almost seems like Redwood, he's outrunning his blockers, Sean. You really see that on this possession.
Kirsten, that's an excellent point because, for example, that play right there, he really did. He passed 2 blockers on that play. If he would have showed a little more patience, who would have known what type of yardage he would have had across the far side of the field? In the meantime, it's 2nd down and 6 as Kazakov now redirects Redwood, shifts him over towards the left side. Redwood in motion on play action. He needed the protection. Now he gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. He was looking for the tight end on the drag route. It was intended across the near sideline.
I think that was the right decision by Kazakov to throw that away. He was under such threat of pressure. I think if he would have tried to guide it closer to his intended receiver, it could have been disaster.
That was Jericho Tufano. Apologies for the delay in the name call. Number 47, Jericho Tufano for Serra. Intended target, incomplete. 3rd down and 6. Arco, the motion man. Pass play winding up for Kazakov. Finally gets rid of it, hits Redwood. Picks up the first down and some. At the 40, cuts it back inside. Tripped up inside the 30. Austin Changros makes the tackle, and he's down around the 25.
Well, Coach Walsh knows so much more than I because I'm thinking, what? Don't throw the ball. There's no protection there for Kazakov, but there was just enough protection. And why was Redwood so wide open?
How about Kazakov trying to get past not one but 2 Bellarmine defenders closing in on him, made that throw as he was getting pulled to the ground, and he hits his safety man, Eric Redwood, who picks up big yardage, not on the ground but through the air. It will count as a completion, and it's 1st and 10 as the ensuing play goes towards the left side. That will be the fullback, Malapiai, who picks up close to 6 yards. Serra in business, 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play.
Where was the Serra offense earlier in the first half? Well, part of the problem was they were the ones with the penalties in the first half. And Serra fans are so pumped.
And Kirsten, that Bells defense looks gassed right now. On 2nd down, Redwood works the left, cuts it back towards the middle, falls down very close to the 15-yard line. He may be a yard shy of the first down marker. The officials come together at the 16, and it looks like this will be very, very close to the first down marker.
Mike Janda told me earlier on what his this Bellarmine's team biggest weakness, no depth, that they didn't have a lot of depth. And I think you're exactly right. This has been such an emotional game. It's been kind of a fitful game, a lot of hiccups with the penalties, and the Bellarmine defense is starting to yield.
Officials timeout as we have a measurement down on the field. The game clock is stopped at 2 minutes, 58 seconds. And our referee, Phil Beltran, indicates inches. Inches away from the first down marker. It will be 3rd and inches for Serra. 17-12. Bellarmine leads. Serra moving the ball nicely here. Can they take the lead late in the 4th quarter?
Bellarmine brings a 10-game win streak into this game. The fans a bit stunned here on the Bellarmine side of the field, although Bellarmine's still in the lead.
It's been over 6 years since Serra has defeated Bellarmine. And right now, what better time to try to stun one of your arch rivals than in the 2nd round of the Open Division playoffs on 3rd and inches. This will be Cassidy, who breaks loose across the middle at the 10-yard line. Cassidy found a lane, did a bunny hop, and takes it down to the 10.
Cassidy has not had his number called a lot tonight, but he comes through and needed great size. And Cassidy, just a sophomore, 6 feet, 185 pounds.
Kazakov runs back into the huddle. 2 minutes, 39 seconds left to play. From the 10-yard line, it will be 1st and goal, Padres. Man in motion, that's Arco. It will be a pitch to Arco, far side. Has 2 blockers in front of him. Legs a-churning, tackled around the 5.
The Arco, again, that overlooked back, if you will, kind of standing in the shade that Eric Redwood cast with his long shadow.
So the officials mark that ball down at the 5-yard line. Arco picks up 5 yards. It's 2nd and goal. Serra from the 5. This play goes to Redwood towards the middle of the offensive pile. Right now, I'm looking down in that field. I'm seeing a lot of tired Bellarmine defenders with their hands on their hips, really huffing and puffing.
You're exactly right, Sean. A lot of hands on the hips. Serra is playing downhill at this point.
Over 10 plays on this offensive series for Serra with 1:33 to go. The clock continues to move. Arco, toss, far side, pinned up, stood down on 3rd down. Bellarmine holds. Kenneth Olagabode.
Well, and don't count the Bells defense out too much. They still got a play for sure, and this is huge for Coach Walsh here.
On 4th and goal, this could be the game. They're going to pin the ball at the 2-yard line. It's 4th and deja vu all over again for Serra. If they punch it in, they take the lead. The clock rolls, 54 seconds. Pitch to Cassidy, works the middle, he's stuffed. Bellarmine stops it. The Bells take over. What a job by the defense of Bellarmine. The crowd goes crazy on the Bellarmine sideline. Pure silence. 50 yards away.
Cassidy looked like he had the momentum, but Bellarmine just closed the gap so quickly. What a stand by the Bells.
Oh, Kirsten, I said deja vu all over again for Serra. They get it down inside the 10 on 4th down. They opt to give it to Cassidy. Kava Cassidy takes the call as Bellarmine decides to burn a timeout here. They have 1 timeout remaining. There's 48 seconds left in this football game. The Serra crowd is stunned. A little part of me wonders, why didn't Eric Redwood get the call right there? Instead, Coach Walsh opts to give it to Kava Cassidy, the sophomore running back.
Well, and also on those previous plays, it wasn't Redwood. It's their red zone offense seemed to be about Cassidy and Arco in that position. But you're exactly right, a sophomore. But, you know, Cassidy made it close. He certainly got some yardage there. And here it is for Bellarmine.
On October 13th, head coach Patrick Walsh opted to go for the 2-point conversion. Once he successfully converted the touchdown, all he needed was a PAT to tie. Instead, Eric Redwood, who took the toss, was stuffed by the Bellarmine defense. And tonight, on 4th and goal, just over a month later, they do it again. As KJ Carter-Samuels is now under center for Bellarmine from his own 2.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a scenario where Carter-Samuels could take a knee there.
It was actually his own 1. It was the 1-yard line as KJ needed all the push he could get from that Bellarmine offensive line as he just followed the center, Daniel Fields, straight ahead. And Serra burns their 2nd timeout. The Padres now with 1 timeout left to play.
Serra, 9 wins on the season, Sean. Looks like they're going to come a win short here.
And if
this has certainly not been a pretty win by Bellarmine, but it may be the one they cherish the most when, at least up to this point in the season, and that's saying something considering they beat the Padres in OT the first meeting.
And if you're Bellarmine at this point, just hold on to the football.
Yes.
And now the quarterback, KJ Carter-Samuels, gave their offense a little more room to breathe as the football is now placed down inside the 5-yard line. It will be second down for Bellarmine. 42 seconds remaining in this football game. Bellarmine with a 17-12 lead as Serra cannot convert on fourth down. Bellarmine's defense stops them just a few moments ago. The crowd on the far side of the field, the Serra fans, all of them still on their feet.
Still on their feet, but just stunned.
Just absolutely stunned. Olugabode in the backfield. Next to him is the fullback, Gavin Lynham. Rush play goes middle. Out to the 8-yard line. Whistles blow quickly as Coach Walsh will use his last timeout. 37 seconds remaining. So 37 seconds left in the game. And folks, we'd like to remind you to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show, where Kirsten and I will select our player of the game, and then I will have a live interview with that player, all coming up in just a few moments right here on PlayOnSports.com.
I think when Serra looks back at this football game, Sean, Coach Walsh wanted to establish the passing game. However, it really seems that fatigue came into play for this Bellarmine defense, and perhaps not enough Redwood in this one.
You just can't help but wonder what happened. Redwood with 187 rushing yards in the first matchup during the regular season. We don't have the official statistics on him for this evening, but I can tell you he definitely fell shy of that mark here tonight. The Bellarmine defense doing a great job containing him despite the late surge efforts by Serra. Now the defense will try to just do anything they can to knock this ball loose as Olugabode takes the toss.
You know, it's funny with this double wing offense, you do see the ball going through the air here.
I get nervous when I see that. On a third down, your back's against the wall in your own end zone. If you're Coach Janda, you've been doing this a heck of a lot longer than I have, but I would just take the safe handoff.
Exactly, and you just see that the Serra defenders are, just trying to get into that backfield as quickly as they can.
Olugabode took that out to the 10-yard line. It will be an official measurement. If this is a first down, the game is over.
But if it's not?
If it's not, it will be 4th and inches, and it is. It's 4th and inches. The clock is stopped briefly at 27 seconds, so more than likely Bellarmine would punt this ball away, or dare I say it's a 17-12 game. I've seen this done before. What they might do is take the punter, Grant Bush, line him up to punt, and tell him to do his best Dancing with the Stars impression and move around in that end zone and take the safety. It would make it a 13-14 game, but if he can chew up enough time on the clock.
Decisions haven't been easy for either head coach tonight. And here's one for Mike Janda. Do you go high percentage? Do you do what Sean just said? These coaches are having to coach a lot tonight.
It's a tough call to go with, and I bring it up only because I've seen it done before. The clock rolls. The officials now stop it at 2 seconds. So what you saw right there was the clock rolling down because Bellarmine had more time once the officials wanted the measurement, so they burned their last timeout. Neither team with a timeout now, as there's just 2 seconds left. And I guess, Kirsten, how long does it take a quarterback to do a kneel down if you're Bellarmine, if there can be 2 seconds chewed up? Interesting call right here with just 2 seconds left.
Absolutely. I mean, back to your previous about having seen the punter and the safety. I mean, you always risk the fumble or something like that in the end zone, but I don't see how Bellarmine is going to walk out of here with anything but a victory at this point.
Yeah, because you figure even if they opted to go with that play, which I described as a punter taking the ball, dancing in the end zone, and just taking the safety, guess what?
He doesn't have to go into the end zone.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go to the end zone. He can fall at the 1, takes a knee, time expires, game over. And even if they do take the safety, it would be 17-14 with no time remaining. The ball game's over. But we'll see what Coach Janda decides to do on 4th and inches, or he could just prove us all wrong and go for it. KJ Carter-Samuels in at quarterback. Changros is the fullback directly behind him. Lynham The left wing back, Olugabode, over towards the right. They're going to go for it. Olugabode takes the handoff, falls down at the 5, and that's it. Bellarmine defeats Serra for the second time this season, 17-12. And they advance to the 2012 CCS Open Division Final.
Well, I think the expression "time running out" fits Serra tonight. Time ran out on these Serra Padres. They fumbled away on the first play of the second half. They finally got their offense going here in the fourth quarter, and then looked like they were going to get the ball back with a little bit of time to spare, but instead time just ran out on Serra. Congratulations to Bellarmine to pick up its 11th win of the season.
Bellarmine is going back to the Open Division Final. Who will they play, St. Ignatius or Mitty? Now it really gets interesting, but Serra has been knocked off here this evening. Final score 17-12. The Bells take care of the Padres. Don't go anywhere, folks. Kirsten and myself will think things over. We'll come back in just a few moments with our PlayOnSports.com Player of the Game update. Once again, final score 17-12, Bellarmine.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Final score here at Independence High School, 17-12, as Bellarmine, the 1 seed, knocks off Serra, the 5 seed, by a final score of 17-12. Kirsten Fairchild's heading down onto the field to grab our PlayOnSports.com Player of the Game. Who else? Number 16, Kenneth Olugabode, the big senior, 6'1", 205-pounder. He did a great job on offense tonight, scored 2 touchdowns, but did a better job on defense. Helped stuff Serra on those winding seconds in that far east end zone, and Bellarmine advances to the final round to face either the winner, St. Ignatius or Archbishop Mitty. That game tomorrow night right here on PlayOnSports.com. So Bellarmine wins 17-12. When we come back, I'll have a live interview with our player of the game, Kenneth Olugabode.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back, folks, to PlayOnSports.com. Sean Hennessy here with you. Kenneth Olabode to my right, our PlayOnSports.com player of the game for Bellarmine. The Bells knock off Serra by a final score 17-12 here at Independence High School. It was the rematch, Kenneth. It was ding-ding round 2 all over again. You guys faced off against Serra earlier in the year. You had that overtime matchup that came down to the wire, 35-34. And then sure enough, this game rolls around. It comes down to the wire. Let's go back to that defensive play for you guys on 4th down. What did you see playing the linebacker role as that toss came towards the middle on 4th down?
For me, I just saw the pulling lineman, and I just saw it blow it up. Someone else will make a tackle. I trust my teammates, and they did it.
And your teammates held strong. You guys came together as a team. And when I call Bellarmine football, when I think Bellarmine football, you guys have an explosive offensive attack in that double wing formation. A lot of different players touch the ball. KJ Carter-Samuel's a tremendous quarterback. But the first thing I think about when I talk about Bellarmine football is the defense and the way you guys swarm to the football. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, that's a great assessment, I think.
Because you guys really do a great job doing that. Kenneth Olabode, our player of the game here tonight, 17-12, our final score as Bellarmine takes care of Serra for the second time this year, 17-12. You guys advance to the CCS Open Division Final. You'll play the winner of St. Ignatius Midi, that game tomorrow night. Have you guys thought about that at all, or am I jumping a little bit ahead here? What was the focus this week?
Win the game. I mean, we look at it one game at a time, especially in the playoffs, and this is the game right now, and there's no tomorrow for us until now.
Let's go back to the start of the second half, the third quarter. Serra gets the football because you guys received to start the football game. All of a sudden, we see Kazakov botch the snap, loose ball, Bellarmine football. What's going on along your sideline?
Oh, we're going crazy because we know exactly how they felt last game. First play of the game for us, we fumbled the ball, and now we got the chance to go score after they fumbled.
And you guys get the ball. It's a scoring opportunity, and you have 2 big rushing touchdowns for your team tonight. Talk about your offensive line, Kenneth, and what they've done for you and this Bellarmine football team throughout the year.
They're everything for me. I mean, they get the push every single time, and I mean, I just follow them, and I mean, like a lot of people say, follow the butts of your alignment, and they'll take you to the promised land.
Kenneth Olabode, our PlayOnSports.com player of the game. Last time, 17-12, Bellarmine takes care of Serra here at Independence High School. This place was going crazy. The atmosphere was loud. Both teams' fan bases really put on a good performance here tonight. But now it's Bellarmine, the 1 seed, advancing to the finals. What do you take away from this game and get ready for next week? You're going to face off either against SI or Midi, but what do you take away from this game?
Block and tackle. I mean, when you look at football, that's all it comes down to, blocking and tackling, and we tackled out there, and it made a big difference.
It made a huge difference. Kenneth Olabode, congratulations.
Thank you.
Our PlayOnSports.com player of the game. Bellarmine takes care of Serra for a second time, and they're going on to the CCS Open Division Final.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Kirsten Fairchild's to my right, rejoining me here in the broadcast booth at Independence High School. I'm Sean Hennessy, getting ready to wrap things up here at Independence High School in San Jose, California, as the number 1 seed Bellarmine Bells take care of the number 5 seed Serra Padres by a final score 17-12. Kirsten, it was everything we thought it would be. It was a much more low-scoring affair than the previous matchup, but right down to the wire. Pure excitement from start to finish.
Oh, and Serra, what a tough loss for them. I mean, just that here they get the ball in the second half and then fumble it away on the first play. They were able to kind of rejuvenate their offense in the fourth quarter and look to Redwood, but however, he didn't get the ball the last few plays of that game, and I think there's some questions that will be asked, but you have to credit the Bellarmine defense that made a stand when they needed to make a stand the most.
It was Kava Cassidy, the ball carrier, on that fourth down try for the Serra Padres, who was stuffed short on the fourth down attempt, and you saw the Bellarmine sideline erupt. A few moments ago, I just got done chatting with Kenneth Oligabodi, our PlayOnSports.com player of the game, and I asked him, I said, what did you see on that play? And he goes, man, I had my head in the dirt. I was driving ahead. I was trying to, follow my team, but what a great kid. And you see him down there right now. He was the driving force behind this Bellarmine victory. 2 big rushing touchdowns here this evening.
I know, and here he is, the player of the game, and when I'm bringing up the bleachers, nothing but heckles for him. Nothing about comments on his missed tackles or being stopped short. It's like, where's the love? Come on. The guy is just such a stellar player for this Bellarmine defense, but I guess, his brothers, his friends are going to give him a hard time.
Everyone's going to get it as he's down on the field right now, finishing up some interviews. Kirsten Fairchild's to my right. I'm Sean Hennessy, getting ready to wrap things up. Once again, final score 17-12. Bellarmine takes care of Serra. They will face the winner of tomorrow night's matchup, and that will be St. Ignatius versus Mitty. Kirsten, you'll have the play call for that one. It will be here on PlayOnSports.com. So Bellarmine, the 1 seed, advances. They're going to take on SI or Mitty. Any early predictions for that one?
Well, I don't know at this point, but the semifinals, I think, as you mentioned earlier, the West Catholic Athletic League, they know. They played these teams before. Obviously, Serra and Bellarmine had a much different tempo to their overtime game earlier in the season, a much high-scoring affair. But that's where the coaching staffs come in. You saw the adjustments that were made from both sides of the ball coming into this game, and as well as at halftime, I expect nothing less from SI and Mitty tomorrow.
Patrick Walsh, the coach of Serra, devastated here this evening as his team falls not once but twice to Bellarmine. On the flip side, Coach Janda, pure excitement as his team rejoices, gathers, and now they get ready to face either St. Ignatius or Mitty later next week for the CCS Open Division Final. Folks, that's going to wrap things up here from Independence High School. For Kirsten Fairchilds, I'm Sean Hennessy. Thank you so much for tuning in to this evening's broadcast. We'll see you next week right here on PlayOnSports.com. Good night.
1 match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.